Heidi, Heidi, ho, everybody. Welcome to the Risen Unstoppable League. I'm DBZ Freak 2. I'm hosting today. On my other side here, as I almost pointed the wrong way. Actually, it's
Yep,
this way today. Just kidding.
banger.
Hyper and Darter once again. All three of us bringing a banger. How you boys doing?
Doing great,
Great.
doing great. How you doing?
Doing. That's the best I can
That's about
describe.
it.
So
Yeah.
we're gonna quickly start with picks and bans. It's gonna look scuffed as hell, and that's okay because OBS sucks sometimes and
Yeah,
draft wall's
great
broken.
program.
So
Woo!
go at it, boys. We'll see you at the end.
All right, so they're getting these bans done pretty quick. A lot of target bans this go around. Fizz, Irelia, Graves, and Zach Lee Sin. And we'll see if Annie gets banned away. It's a very strong pick. I know that the AD carry for the side of BYU, their main ADC pick is the Zaya, so that might get banned away. They do opt for the Jarvan instead. There's a lot of strong first picks available. We'll see if any of the fabled static Shiv champions are picked. Zoe first pick. Uh,
Zoe first.
yeah, we saw this from BYU in week 3,
I
and
remember
it
that.
went in the bot lane, and that's where I thought it was gonna go because they did also play Zoe 80 carry week 1, I believe. So that's where I'm expecting it to go. It is still a flex pick, but for right now, I think it is gonna be in the bot lane. We'll see what final Bastion counters with here in a second.
I mean, last. I think it was week 3. You're right.
Yeah.
Week 3 when we saw it, it wasn't
It was pretty
terrible.
good. They won with it, and it
They
did
did
a
win that
lot of
one game.
damage.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Looks like they're gonna lock in that Nautilus. I don't know why on my screen the picture won't pop up, but
Okay,
whatever.
Kai'Sa
And then
Nox.
pair it with the Kaisa. God, I love that
Yeah, it's
combination.
a classic bot lane. We
Ooh,
saw this all over the meta in 2018 with Xayah on the other side of the rift very commonly.
yep.
It's come back into meta recently with Static Shiv coming back into the meta. And I mean, with
I
Hybrid
mean,
Kai'Sa does a ton of damage and
yeah.
it's instant wave clear.
You told us about the
Yeah,
hybrid Kaisa
it's really
damage.
good.
I started playing it and like instantly started just hard carrying my games.
Yeah, it does a ton of damage.
Uh,
And because you only really need one amp tome, which you get from building
right.
Rageblade anyways to one-shot backline minions. You do delay your Q evolve a little bit, but I think it's worth it for the damage output at 2 items. And that should be Pantheon support as we have Kiana mid.
Kiana mid.
Uh,
That's an interesting pick.
yeah, certainly difficult to play into Nautilus. Pantheon Zoe should be fine in lane, but if this Nautilus is able to roam, Kiana might have some issues. So I'd expect some type of jungler to help support that. Maybe a Sejuani or Maokai, something like that, that can help cover early on. Potentially Vi, but that is a lot of AD for them.
And you know what?
We'll
I am seeing the Pantheon go into the support role because I
yeah.
was I was checking out the stats on each of the players, and Final Bastion's top laner is an absolute monster.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he's an absolute monster. He's got first in damage per minute and solo kills per game. He gets like 3 a
hmm
game,
Yeah.
which I mean, you're a top laner, you're expected to get solo kills, but 3 in a game
hmm
plus, you're pumping at least 1,000 damage per game. That's
Yeah.
kind of insane. So, you know, playing the more stronger bot side with a weaker top side would make sense.
hmm
I'm surprised I'm not seeing more target bans. There it is,
There's Anna.
towards
Yeah.
the top laner.
Yeah, it really depends on what your team's top laner is looking to pick. Because they are red side, right? So they have the luxury of top counter pick, and you're obviously if you should be blinding mid on 4, which is why they're banning some mid lane champions here. Makes a lot of sense. Annie's banned. I would expect potentially LeBlanc to be banned if they play it. I mean, well, Kiana's here, so unless they think it's Kiana jungle, which I don't, should be going mid lane.
I haven't seen Keanu Jungle become meta since the rework.
Yeah, it's really tough to clear with now. I mean, since every jungler's clear has been sort of normalized with the new jungle pets, with the exception of a couple champions like Fiddlesticks can clear exceptionally fast because you can do tricks with all red side jungle where you can
Mhm.
like smite Krugs and clear red buff and Krugs at the same time, level 2.
Ooh, that's kinda cool.
But so I mean, we'll see what they pick. Veigar looks pretty good here. Talia also good into Kiana. It kind of completely negates her ability to kill you. You just throw
I
your
like the
E
Talia.
down, and any dash that she would use to engage is completely negated, and she'll stun herself.
So
So
with
super
the
strong.
with
Yeah.
the Talia, do we think that Maokai is actually the jungler?
I would think so. I mean, normally your classic jungle pairing with Talia's Vi, something like that. But Maokai top is something we've seen a lot this split, and something that is still very good and pretty strong blind. Shen picked up as well.
I
They
like the
do need a
Shen.
little bit more frontline, makes a lot of sense. They are lacking in magic damage, so I would expect AP jungle. We might see Nico pick here. I think it's pretty decent.
Oh,
Karthus
man.
also looks all right.
That Nico jungle is kind of cancer.
Yeah,
I
it's
was
really strong.
facing one, and too many times did a canyon minion morph into Nico and blow me up, and it is not fun.
Oh wow, it
So
is. I think it is Kiana jungle,
I guess that is gonna be
unless
Kiana
it's
jungle.
Pantheon jungle and they're going Shen support. But we'll see. I don't. I'll have to take a look
Ooh.
because Pantheon jungle into Maokai seems a bit hard to play, and that should be Maokai top if they are hovering Rammus, unless they are intentionally counterpicking Akshan top with Rammus top, which is something that you can
Hilarious.
do.
Which is hilarious. Have you ever done the Wits End on the Rammus?
What what I've done on Rammus, is Sork shoes, and you build full tank because his W does magic damage. So any auto attacker just one shots themselves off your W damage plus Thornmail, which is really funny because Sork shoes is a lot of flat pen, and normally AD carries don't build magic resist. At least they shouldn't be unless they're building Wits End. And with the draft completed, we are going to get into spectator delay, figure out where exactly the picks for BYU are going, and get DBZ's opinion on this draft.
So what do you think on the draft there, Freak?
So we can assume this is the Zoe going in the ball lane like we saw in week 3. That immediately off birth we can assume that. But the rest of the map, I'm assuming. I want to say I agree with the Pantheon support angle on this one.
Yeah.
Akshan typically is best in the mid lane because he
Yeah.
has that weird roaming potential where he can go invisible and kind of just like be somewhere instantly without anyone even knowing, unless they have wards priorly. I'm
Yeah.
pretty excited to see this Fiora in action because Fiora is good into tanks with the vital procs naturally, and she can match Shen's split push as well, or he has to match her. So depends on who gets ahead there in the top lane. The Talia, I think a really intelligent pick. They have a lot of dashes on the other side.
Yeah,
A lot of dashes.
They have too many dashes on the other side.
Yeah, so using that Unraveled Earth is going to be crucial in these fights to stop Kiana from getting too close to the Kaisa, or Pantheon from getting too close, Shen from taunting in. It's just a really smart counter pick coming through from First Bastion, or Final Bastion, sorry. I don't know why I thought First Bastion. I think just whatever, but Final Bastion to be exact. So really good pick there. Maokai, obviously, and Nautilus, I'll say as well. Both of their hard engage tools that they have. Final Bastion's comp looking pretty good. BYU's is a little spicy, I will say, because we have not seen Kiana too much as of recently. So I'm thinking that this is a pretty solid like game plan that they have in mind right now at the moment. If usually no one picks this. Is it Kiana jungle? It is. Okay, cool.
It is Kiana jungle. Look at that.
Cool. So that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I'm not sure how strong it is. I'm curious to see the pick rate on that. It's obviously low and definitely off meta, but I will take a quick look at that.
I was going to say, I got you with that one.
Yeah.
So let's see. So
I mean, that's really interesting why you would want to go Kiana in the jungle.
The one thing that I am curious about is the Akshan and Shen both picking into Atelia when you know she's available and into Maokai. I think Akshan has a very tough time playing into these champions, and Kaisa will have a lot of natural peel just with the Unraveled Earth and Nautilus Maokai engage. And I mean, you don't have as many divers as you would like with Kaisa, like potentially a Silas or a Camille, things like that can pair really well with multiple forms of engage and allow Kaisa to dive with layered CC. But since you have there's a lot of pick potential with their comp that you normally don't see drafted with Kaisa. But with the new hybrid build, she does have a lot of burst with W evolve because you get all 3 evolves with it. So can very quickly burst down any of these targets because they're very squishy with the exception of Shen. So, I mean, they can easily look for picks, take 4v5s, and I expect their comp to perform very well in team fights in this game.
Yeah, and I actually brought up the pick rate for Kiana jungle in all ranks, not just Platinum Plus. So this is for all ranks. She has a 0.4% pick rate and a 45% win rate.
Okay, win rate is higher than I would expect. In Plat Plus, her win rate is 47%.
47, I think. Yeah.
So, and again, a champion like Kiana's win rate will increase the higher elo you go. So it's definitely not bad, but not something you see very often because it's very hard to pick into things. I think seeing Nautilus Kaisa and having the confidence to pick Kiana into a composition like that, only seeing those 2 champions, not seeing jungle, not seeing mid lane. Because usually Kiana jungle and picks like that, like potentially Shen jungle and Sion jungle and Malphite jungle, those things are reserved for like 4 or 5. Once you see more of the draft in front of you and you can actually tell whether or not it's going to be able to be used to its full effectiveness. If they can find picks, however, BYU's comp has an extremely high amount of burst damage
Yeah,
with
they
Akshan,
do.
Yeah,
Zoe,
they do.
Kiana. If one person gets caught out, they are almost guaranteed to be 100 to 0, even if it is Maokai or Nautilus. They're getting a huge chunk taken out of their health. My only concern is Fiora's sideline, and if she does start to get accelerated, who is able to match her? Because even though Akshan is good in side lane, if he isn't also accelerated, he does have a hard time in the 1v1.
Now,
I mean,
go ahead, Hyper. Before. Yeah.
I mean, you bring up a good point with the Fiora side lane because
Yeah.
I think we brought it up. I think last week, when it came to Camille, where Camille Fiora set,
Yeah.
on just pure kit alone, these 3 champs just destroy towers,
Yeah.
not
Right.
considering items. So, you have Fiora, who more than likely could and more than likely will get ahead of what is that, Carter rules?
Carter rules. Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
There's an R missing, but my dyslexic ass fills the R in. So I mean, no disrespect to Carter rules, but homie's top lane is superb. It's phenomenal. So
Yeah.
he could get that extra money to
Yeah.
they could just 4-1 all game, and he just takes Hullbreaker.
That's true.
And they have to send 1, 2, potentially 3 people to deal with the Fiora. And then Fiora, she also has a little mobility in her kit, but she has so much sustain as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's kind of ridiculous when you think about it, because you send the Pantheon, who can point and click CC, then you get a bubble, and then you get all this burst coming. Fiora's health is down. She's got a quarter left, an eighth left. She hits a vital point. It's back up to half health, and now she's ready to roll.
Yeah.
It's like, this champion should not be able to do this. I don't understand why it does, but it does anyways.
It definitely does. Yeah.
So
especially with Divine Sunder and Ravenous Hydra, the healing is.
Oh my god,
This is a Thunder game for
it's
sure.
gonna be ridiculous. So I mean, BYU is in this kind of point where they're looking. They got to look at the chessboard at this point and say who's their queen. How do we neutralize it? But realistically, how do we get to the Nexus? Just how do we get there? I don't care which pieces we have to lose. Just how do we get there?
Yeah.
And I like the burst idea though.
For 100%, I definitely agree with you. But we have about 20 seconds left for spec delay, so we're not going to do the Dragon Soul yet. We will do it when we get into game. But for now, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break before we get into game 1 between BYU and Final Bastion. We'll see you on the other side.
Oof.
I'm all alone. Where did you go? Back into your mind, down into your hole. And I'm not invited, I already know. I'm standing right in front of you. Say something, won't you say something, baby? You don't look at me, you see through. You want me to swim, but you'll be my ocean. We're spinning in circles, your circular motion. Pushing away, you're pulling me through. Might do the same if I were you. 1 foot on the ground and 1 on the moon. Together we could get it right. You and me, baby, that's the life. But you are never
not much will
I
come of it though,
mean-
because BYU does end up going for a 5-point.
I mean,
So-
but like they have the point and click with Bingo's Pantheon, but do they really want to use Zoe Bubble and Shen Taunt, level 1? Because I feel like if Shen takes
No.
Taunt, he kind of
No.
he's kind of done in lane.
Yeah, Shen needs Q start, especially into a champion like Fiora. It's really his only trading tool. I mean, W is pretty good in the 1v1, but you really don't want to take that level 1 because you're going to be conceding push, and W doesn't really allow you to farm at all. Kiana invading in the red buff.
Kiana's
Fiora
invading,
does
yeah.
see her. We might see if they go for a counter invade on the enemy red buff, or
Oh,
just
nope.
start on bot side. Looks like they're shooting for vision. Don't find anything.
Yeah, I think Fiora kind of walked out of bush briefly for a split second, so she saw her
Yeah.
there. There is a ward by the Raptors, so they
There
will
is,
see
yes.
if Maokai goes up in that direction.
Oh,
So that
so
little
we
bit
have
of
planted one.
that cheeky invade, yes. Oh, there's a ward by the Raptors as well. But that little cheeky invade, or I guess counter invade that that final Bastion tried to do. They were kind of expecting something cheeky
Yeah.
from them, maybe, and so as a result, BYU gets a little extra bit of vision. I think a little bit small victories, but But here we are, mid lane, Akshan versus Talia. I'm fully expecting Talia to get the upper hand when she
Yes.
starts using that Unraveled Earth and whatnot, because every time Akshan tries to go for his little swingity swing nonsense, I forget what
Oh,
it's
yeah.
called off the top of my head, but like, she will just put the Unraveled Earth down every single time, and there's an example we just saw of the Vital, so it's not doing much
Yeah.
right now, but that is pretty much how this entire top. Oh, never mind.
First,
Wrong thing.
okay.
I was thinking. I was like, why is it going backwards? For whatever reason, my brain flipped that wasn't Kaisa, so like I thought that was Kaisa throwing the W backwards. What is going on? But heavy trading here on the top side. Oh, and
Misses
the
the
taunt
taunts.
is missed too.
I mean,
But-
Gator Rules is using that shield really well. When she's diving in for those vital points, he's popping it, pretty well, I would say. Unfortunately, really long cooldown early levels.
Yeah, there's not much you can do about this. I mean, Fiora's always going to get pushed in this lane and always have the advantage in early trading until he gets his full kit available and a few levels. Like, it's really when he starts to be super playable at level 5 when his Q cooldown is reduced. So, but until then, he'll have some struggles here. He will be getting pushed in, which is why Alphabet Cat decided to path towards his bot lane. You want to get your bot lane accelerated when you're playing with Pantheon Zoe, and you don't want them to be getting accelerated on by Kai'Sa Nautilus, because they are pretty prone to all-ins if Nautilus hits a hook onto Pantheon, and Pantheon can't get onto Kai'Sa if he doesn't have his passive available. The one thing I will point out is Unleashed has decided to path towards the top lane, towards his Fiora, and it looks like they might go for a dive with Want to see a Trig is roaming right now up from the
Yeah,
river.
I see that too. And bot lane heavy trading as well.
Yeah, there will be a ton of trading in this lane anytime.
Proxying. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, they are gonna dive this man.
Yeah, so
Oh,
they definitely
no.
know that they know Alphabet Cat path down. They saw him on Raptors. They have top scuttle, so if they don't dive him, they can at least deny quite a bit. It looks. We'll see what they end up going for.
It's just so
I mean,
easy.
at first I thought I saw like vertical jungling going on because I saw Kiana bot lane in the
Oh.
bot side of the jungle, but I was like, oh wait, she's blue side. She's in the
Yeah,
blue jungle.
they started
dumb.
opposite side. She is invading now to get some vision, I would assume, or unless she's waiting for Maokai's respawn on Gromp, which is could be. It's pretty tough 1v1 as you do have push in lane, so you can invade, but you just don't have
He was
push in
waiting
mid,
for
so
ward.
it's
That's what
yeah.
he was waiting on.
deep ward makes a lot of sense. You want to catch him on his timer so you can cover your Shen because you know they're going to be playing towards top lane, especially after you saw Talia roaming up there already at level 4. You know as soon as she hits level 6, they're going to be looking for top dives.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually kind of excited to see that. I'm not gonna lie, boys. I kind of wanted to see that that dive because I
It's
don't.
a really hard dive to pull off, especially without Maokai 6 and no Fiora 6. It's very, like, no grand challenge, no...
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really hard to kill a Shen under tower.
I mean, especially if he lands the taunt on both of them. That just
Exactly,
makes
yeah.
the whole thing go completely awry.
You're asking to, at worst, at this early stage, to be traded 1-for-1. I don't think you can get off a clean dive without at least Nature's Grasp.
Or Talia being there if
Talia's
they
throwing
3v1.
back up
Yeah.
top lane again.
Yeah, but this time, Alphabet Cat is in the top side. They don't have any vision in top river. They did see him walk through the mid brush, though, so they know he's up there. Carter Rule's ending up going for the back. He might have to TP, given the wave state can be frozen. Looks like it is.
Yeah, I think. No, he's not going to TP. He's walking all the way back to the lane.
He's walking
so
back. Okay, he will get denied at least a wave here. We'll see if Velikos decides to freeze this. I would hope he does, because he can deny a lot of creeps given the lane state. Yeah, it looks like he's going to attempt to freeze.
And naturally, with the way that the top lane is going.
What a
oh,
bubble! What a bubble! What a hook! Nails Zelda girl right there.
Okay,
Yeah,
that
they
was
just
a
don't
little
have
spicy.
Yeah, they just don't have the follow-up damage yet. Kai'Sa without items, like if you don't have Noon Quiver, because once you get Noon Quiver or the Corchi's Shard, your damage spikes really hard. So we're gonna have a 2v2 in top lane.
Up here.
Oh, what a taunt right there, but Alphabet Cat coming up from the river, followed by Unleashed. Here comes Alphabet Cat diving in. Belikaz is down half health, but so means both sides of BYU. Unleashed is gonna dive right in, forcing the flash out of Cater Rules. Alphabet Health has to flash as well. They're gonna get that slow vital point, and it's just going to be flashes traded over for just nothing, really. They give up their flashes. Wow.
Yeah, not even traded. They have to flash there because if Maokai hits one flash Q in the wrong direction, Fiora one flash vital, one of them are dead. They just don't have the stats to deal with the 2v1. Really strong play getting both flashes. Kiana without flash, very vulnerable early on into the game, especially with Maokai, Talia, Nautilus. They are going to be looking for picks, and that should, I would think, secure this dragon for the side of Final Bastion, as they do have now bot push.
Oh boy, and things are gonna get a little spicy now. Good bubble to in on the Nautilus. I do not expect any follow-up damage to come off of that, or I guess so. She's gonna go for it. And
is fully out of mana.
She flips that paddle star in between the minions. I like it.
That was really nice. I actually didn't expect that to happen, to be completely honest with you. But now we're 900 gold in favor of Final Bastion at the moment, and as you can see, most of that CS lead is in the top lane. It has double the CS of the Shen. But again, that's as expected. It's really hard to fight into Fiora. Fiora thrives in 1v1s, which if you've gone up against Fiora, not even just us, but like anyone in chat as well who's gone against that champion, it's really hard to fight against her 1v1. And I play a lot of Fiora. It's pretty devastating if you get ahead on her. You kind of just win the rest of the lane. But bubble laning on the Talia.
Man, forcing the flash out of her too. Oh, bingo flash. Oh, wow. What
there's the burst we were talking about. Yeah, and there's the burst damage we were talking about. That's only a lost chapter and a recurve bow from Akshan, and the bubble damage was popped by Bingo's W there, so that wasn't even max Q damage. It was just a very long range. He ends up using the flash to extend it a little bit, and that's a ton of damage. Belikaz could actually potentially die. Does have the Grand Challenge available, won't look for it, as they'll have to give over Drake. So first Drake will go over to BYU and even things up a little bit.
I do gotta say, boys, this is by far the slowest paced game we've seen, but with so many like, ooh, what a hook. We might have it all in here too. He's gonna go sleepy. Alphabet Cat dives in, but so does Bingo. Jungle Jim is forced to flash out of that one as well. I don't know if that Paddle Storm will connect.
No, it won't.
Yeah, Zelda Girl does not have the flash available, can't extend it just far enough, and ulting under Tower Tower is a little bit risky. Even though you can technically buffer Nautilus Hook through your ultimate, it's not exactly the play you want to go for. Potentially trading over kills in a Trinity one is not something, as we have Talia ultimate goes down.
Wildcard gets out of that one clean, though. He got just on the outside of that wall.
Yeah, Unraveled Earth going down not quite fast enough, ends up using the heroic swing to get out. And nothing else will come of that except for potentially a Rift Herald, and yes, that will be the Rift Herald completed for Unleashed.
They should just go top. But look at the CS lead in the top lane. I'm going to take over to her gold for a second. She has a 900 gold lead in the top lane over this Shen right now. Well, he is absurdly ahead, and it's not even going to get any better as the game goes on. It's going to get worse. I'm not going to... Oh, Grand Challenge just popped.
I don't know if she's going to get a lot out of that one. He does get slow. Another Vital is down. She's going to go under tower, take a shot, and then back out. Cater Rules, I got to be saying, even though he is being bullied, he is playing this, very well. He is not taking anything that he shouldn't be taking.
Yeah, the only concern I have is, wow, that Paddle Star doing a lot of damage.
Wow.
This doesn't ignite no flash, though. And since Bingo is mid, there shouldn't be any kill to come of this. But what I was going to say before we had nearly a one-shot onto Nautilus in the bot lane was, as much as Carter Rules hasn't died in this matchup, Fiora's had this lane frozen for the last 5 minutes. Yeah. And you really need Alphabet Cat to come up here and help break this freeze. Otherwise, you're just going to keep going down further and further and further. And already, we have a 55 CS lead in the top lane. With and that's a ton of, like, the gold difference already is 1,000 gold.
Yeah,
it's a lot, and at some point Carter Rules has to just try and die to crash this wave, because it's better for him than to just let this wave be frozen.
I think they're playing the long con with this one. Also, Maokai is up there, so probably something cheeky about to happen in a few seconds. But I think maybe there is a chance that he is playing the long con, knowing that he is going to be playing weak side the entirety of the laning phase against his Fiora. Kind of just be there for the massive fights later with the Shen ultimate. I mean, just try to speedrun to level 11 for that fat shield. Talia is pathing up here too, so this is gonna be spicy.
And here comes
Nature's Grass
Unleashed
goes
with
down.
that Nature's Grasp. Cardinal's gonna try to taunt out of it. He doesn't get it. He does get a little bit of that damage reduction from his W, but Velikaz just does so much damage. Took a tower shot. Oof.
Yeah, and
Still don't kill him there.
yeah, honestly that gank helps out Cardinals quite a bit because Velikaz can't freeze break.
Bingo
Oh my
flaming
God.
shot has to use his instinct just to survive that, but here comes Alpha McCat ulting on the back line, hits him into the tower, and so does Zelda Girl pick up Jungle Jim. BYU is up 3-0.
Yeah, Wildcard also almost dying there in the mid lane. Unleashed trying to nearly insects him. Want to see a trick, doesn't land the Talia W unfortunately, and that's just enough. Wildcard doesn't burn flash, but it gets away with his life as Herald is dropped down in the mid lane. And grabbing 2 plates for those two.
And that actually kind of before the Herald crash that flipped the gold lead, there was a moment in time where BYU had a gold lead after that whole little bot lane scuffle that just happened. So, I mean, you got a kill onto your Zoe, which is good for, bursting later in the game. You got a kill onto your Kiana, which is good for that backline threat that she needs to be later as well. And, like, if somehow Fiora is a quarter health, and, like, what... I guess there is a chance here, but still
he hasn't.
Rebels.
Yeah, Velikaz has not taken his recall yet. It looks like he wants to crash the stacked wave here and then take his base. Finally, he's sitting on just
There he
under
goes.
2,000 gold right now. Yeah, he's sitting on 1,900 gold, so he potentially has his Sunder in bases. He's gonna look to heavily trade. He does have TP. Might watch
trying not to
be
let
able to win
Crash
this,
go. He gets
actually.
that Tonto, dives right in. Here comes that Vital. Bingo's coming in with his ultimate, and so does the mid laner. They come up too. They get the stun, but that parry does nearly no damage. What a play by Velikaz.
Oh, that was close, but the parry coming through clutch for Velikaz. I mean, that's the Fiora classic, though. You just deny all the ending damage of the hook monster.
Oh, Alphabet catches that hook. Here comes 4 members. Nature's Grass stun, and that is all she wrote, folks. Want to see a trick? Want to see a dead jungle more like it.
Not only a dead jungle, but should be a dead dragon as Cardinals
No
is nearly
shot.
getting... Oh, Velikaz taking 2
Velikaz
heavy
taking
tower shots as he
so
might
much
just
damage.
proxy this wave and look to base because he's in a lot of danger. Did
Oh,
use
the
his TP
Sunder is
back
done
here.
already, by the way.
Yeah, he did
Just
complete his
point that
Sunder,
out.
yeah. And now the CS lead has grown to 77 in the top lane.
Does he
quite a
win
lot.
this? Is my question. Could he
Yeah,
potentially win this
100%.
1v1 right here?
Oh, who? Carter rules or
Carter
Velikaz?
rules.
I mean,
spawns him
under
under
tower,
tower.
yes. Even at this HP, I think Velikaz just one-shots him nearly with the Sunder completed.
I'm 100% there with you. I mean, just the stats aren't there. He has almost 3 levels on him as well. That was a fake flash for those of you paying attention at home.
Yes. That was
Maokai
a
is
flash.
here, so there is a chance they could die for teleported and they didn't see. But I think
Yeah.
she's playing aware that someone is here. Also, Talia's in the area.
Here comes Talia. Here comes her real flash.
That's the real flash.
Really good Weaver's well to actually force the flash out. If it was any further in one direction, she wouldn't have really had to flash. Potentially goes further back as we want to see
Talia?
what he's taking tower.
like
There's no
too many
way.
tower
He's-
shots. She's gonna fall down to Zoe. Solo kill. Just picking up a free one, and there it is in the top lane, boys. Velikaz picked one up off screen.
That's
Yeah.
not right.
And not only does he get the kill, the wave is in a super good state as it's slow pushing into him. So when he gets back, he can potentially freeze this
Freeze it
wave and
again.
start it up again. And the top lane gold difference now up to nearly 2,000 gold. However, there is a 1,500 gold lead in the bot lane for Zelda Girl. 202 does have the loots completed and the sword shoes, so doing a lot of damage already in the game. Battlestar goes
Oh my
wide.
gosh.
Nearly hits.
Like, have I been playing Zoe wrong this whole time? Like, is
Should've-
mid lane Zoe dead? Should I just play her in the bot lane forever now?
Should we
Like,
just
I mean-
play mid lane? Should we just play ADC Zoe?
The only issue with bot lane Zoe is it is very punishable, but when you have a support like Jesus, when you have a support like Pantheon, it can kind of cover off the lack of early in pressure that the Zoe has.
True.
So when you're playing like potentially Rel or even Braum in certain lanes, Nautilus, Pantheon, you can really cover off the Zoe's weakness and bridge straight into that mid game where she has that first item completion. And since you're landing into an AD carry, you're pretty much guaranteed to nearly one-shot the any part of your combo. So, and you're a little bit safer in bot lane. It's a longer lane, but you don't have to worry about both sides. And jungle, you have to worry about a little bit less. So, honestly, not bad in the bot lane, especially if you can play it like
First
this.
tower.
And they get first tower. Look at that.
Yeah, absolutely. So they have a lot of pressure. I mean, just knowing that the absolute burst damage that can come through the Pantheon and the Zoe as well. So using that to their advantage kind of like gave them, I wouldn't say a free lane, but it gave them an easier lane than I honestly expected. Just like during draft, I was like, well, I mean, if Zoe gets caught, she kind of just dies, right? No, I mean, the absolute menace of burst damage that this entire team has is starting to slowly come online. You know, the Dustblade is done. Akshan has the Kraken Slayer, you know, to be able to get through this Maokai and Nautilus later in the game. Ludens is done. The, what is that called? Umbroglaive is done on Pantheon, so...
What
you know,
is Zoe building? She has a Sheen in her pocket.
Lichbane.
Oh.
Just for the extra bonus damage you get.
Zoe's passive auto chunks a lot, especially with Sheen. Like later on into the game when she's 3-4 items, one bubble Q auto is a one-shot. Pretty much guaranteed.
I do gotta say, even though they were bot side, they managed to get set up on this Rift Herald very nicely.
Yeah.
For the side of BYU.
Interesting. They're just coming to the response late on the side of Final Bastion. They look like they want to fight.
Jungle Jim no. Flash hook right there doesn't land it, but that Sleepy Trouble Bubble does. And that Battle Star did so much damage. Unfortunately, Bingo's gonna pay for that crime because he flashes right in and he goes down. Velikos picking that one up. Alphabet Cat is sectioned off from the entire team. He goes down as well. Kaiser picks that one up. And there's just so much burst damage coming from that Trouble Bubble. Exxon tries to find Velikos. He does. Pantheon comes alive. BYU somehow managing to win that fight in the end.
They thought Final Bastion was going to win that fight. I'm not going to lie, but I mean, just that burst damage that came through, nearly one-shotting the Zaya, one-shotting the Talia, and Maokai got chucked out as well. I mean, unfortunately, the Kiana ult did whiff. Otherwise, I think that would have been a completely favorite fight in BYU. And look at that! That was almost half health, alone with just a Ludens, a Sheen, and the Fiendish Codex as well. So, this Zoe is strong.
This Zoe's very strong, It does still have stopwatch available as well, so if she does get caught out, there is that extra layer of safety available. Does have another stolen flash because she doesn't have a flash of her own. As we might see a fight towards the start of this dragon.
Oh, that Sleepy Trouble Bubble is just landing left and right. I mean, we used to say it with like certain skill shot champions, like, oh, they're calculating. Zelda Girl.
Yeah, they're calibrating,
Already calibrated.
Oh, for sure. A lot of these are hitting and they're doing a ton of damage.
Oh, what a clean taunt and a lot of damage negation too right there. It took like, what, 2 tower shots?
Two tower shots. Wasn't ready on it for the parry. Thought she could just get the Demolish Brock and get out. Maybe thought the Eve was down still. Either way, a lot of damage onto this top tier 1. And we might see a re-engage down to the bot lane.
There's a 4th. I think Carter Rule's going to probably take that if she walks back up again. Bingo doesn't know he's on a ward.
I was about to say, like, they're getting ready for this next Drake, which will, you know, give the advantage in terms of, like, speedrunning that Infernal Soul, which is really funny that it is an Infernal Soul with this absolute burst comp that BYU have. So, if one of you had said that, because I completely forgot to ask when the game started. But,
I think we all forgot.
We definitely did. There was a bit of a whoopsies at the start of this game, but they don't actually get the mid-tier one.
Oh, they don't. Oh, he's going to throw that Unleash Nature's Wrath the other direction, but Alphabet Cat is sectioned off with a really clean ultimate. It's going to stun up the entire team. She is barely going to live, but then want to see a trick ends up claiming her in the end.
Yeah, Dragon should go over.
There's a fantastic Weaver's Wall there. It just forced out every cooldown imaginable, and it completely split up the fight. Zelda Girl was completely split off, and that's almost all of your damage currently in these team fights, because Akshan isn't at the point where he's really doing a lot of damage, especially when he's getting chunked out like he is. And that should be a Dragon guaranteed for Final Bastion, as Carter Rules is getting shoved into the tier 2 after Velikos took tier 1 in the top side.
Yeah, here, Wildcard is here on the rotation, though.
I think he doesn't. He has to know
Velikos
something's
should be
up.
More than out, He should be more than out, especially considering that fight just ended. People are having their respawn timers and their base timers. He's more than able to get out. And Baron is spawning here in 20 seconds. We shouldn't be seeing it taken quite yet. Lichbane completed now for Zelda Girl, so that's a 2-item Zoe now on the Rift. Also 2 items for Flame and Shock. He does have his Nashor's Tooth completed. I would have liked
have the W upgrade at this point, I believe.
Yes, he will have W upgrade. Yeah, Nashor's Tooth automatically upgrades it. It's 100 AP.
Oh, yep, there it is.
Point.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
100 AP is the break point for Kaisa W, so as soon as you finish Nashor's Tooth, you get your W upgrade. I saw the Fiendish Codex earlier. I was hoping She wouldn't go Nashor second. I much prefer Ginsu's Rage Blade second, especially in teams like this. It's just a lot of on-hit damage, especially when you can't guarantee W hits to proc your passive all the time.
How would you have felt about a Trinity Force second with the QE
For
upgrade
Kaisa?
automatically? Yeah.
I hate Trinity Force on Kaisa. She cannot
Really?
stack the passive fast enough. It's not a mythic for her. The only AD mythic you're going to be going on Kaisa as Wildcard is getting nearly. So look at the bottom lane. Velikos does a flash up.
But that Velikos follows the flash, but here comes that Shen teleport as well. Velikos is trying to take him out. The parry's gonna go through. Wildcard gets a little bit of that shield, but it's not enough. He does fall in the end. Carter Rules is here, and he might be joining him very
Jungle
soon.
Gym is on his way, so is Unleashed. I don't think either of them will be needed. As Carter Rules has great taunt, hook should come land.
There it
Graves
is.
line does connect.
I was gonna say he doesn't even need the.
Oh, Alpha Cat finds the mid laner for the side of Final Bastion, though.
I guess that's a good trade in the end, but I mean, unfortunately, Fiora does get 2 kills out of that whole little exchange, and we're kind of seeing like the struggles of this team comp.
She landed the trouble bubble
Parry?
too.
Oh,
Didn't carry it.
She gets the paddle star and the ignite, and the tower shot shut down over to Zelda Girl.
Yeah, and the bubble is the sleep is usually something that's super easy to parry time for Fiora players. Maybe he thought he just wasn't one-shottable, didn't see that this Zoe is extremely fed with these 2 items. Just one Q proc on a W is enough to half health a Fiora that's very fed herself. No MR built at all, so that's partly why that did so much damage. But now we're looking at a 4-0 Zoe with halfway to death cap.
We're just gonna casually point out that once this death cap is done, this Zoe will be one-shotting pretty much everyone except
Nobody has
Nautilus.
magic resist. Nobody has any magic resist. Radiant Virtue is the only. Radiant Virtue, Steel Caps, Chain Vest for Maokai, and even Shroud and Steel Caps completed for Nautilus. There is a lot of AD damage on the side of BYU with Akshan and Kiana, but no MR whatsoever. They'll be getting chunked out for quite a long time until they can get the second item complete.
I mean, it's just at this point in the game. I mean, you gotta divert the build a little bit because you are sustaining a lot of the damage from the Akshan and the Kiana and the Pantheon, which is fine. And we're getting a ghost pop actually. It was a fake ghost, but still, I thought they were gonna go for something.
Yeah, potentially just resetting summoner spells.
But anyways, as I was saying, it's like they should start like diverting the build a little bit towards this magic resist, because if they don't, Zoe will continue to do this whatever she's doing right now, which is the right thing. And if she builds a Shadow Flame, they're looking at, oh, never mind, we're fighting.
That Sleepy Trouble Bubble does miss. Alpha Cat does get hooked, but he's gonna throw that ultimate. Flashing out of that one, barely living, but Kaisa ends up taking him in the end. Pico jumps in on the Flaming Shock, but it's not enough because his health bar is getting completed as well. Here goes down Wildcard. He falls, double kill over to the Kaisa. Here comes Weaver's Wall, they find a third. Meanwhile, we have there in the bot lane, Fiora taking tier 2 tower in the bot lane. Peter Rules don't know if he's gonna be able to survive this. That Vital is just out of reach for him.
Yeah, and that's the only issue of BYU's comp. BYU's comp is if one of them get picked out like that, we're completely reliant on themselves finding an engage onto a single target and bursting them down. But if one of them dies, your whole comp is hard. Is Zelda Girl.
Oh my god!
One-shotting Jungle Gym, unfortunately not getting the Baron steal as the smite goes down for Unleashed. Woo! Does have the ultimate available, so could look to one-shot Flaming Shock on mid lane, a little bit out of range, as he definitely knows she's nearby.
What a paddle star!
Again, before the death cap completion, still absolutely one-shotting, and that was without a W proc as well. That's just a max range Q without the Sleepy Trouble Bubble amped damage. So, and that should potentially be mid tower here. It's a little bit dangerous to go hit. So Unleash should be able to clear the wave, but it's just on 300 HP, so it should go down relatively soon here. As Dragon is spawning in 13 seconds.
Yeah,
I do gotta say, Ravenous Hydra is completed for the side of Velikos.
Yeah, but he's looking to split push using his Baron buff to kind of split the wave.
Oh, Sleepy Trouble Bubble, half health. Oh!
Yeah, when all you have is a no magic mantle, it's not nearly enough to nullify the magic damage from Zoe. It's just completely shredding everything, especially with the amped damage.
Someone's gotta stop Fiora.
Martel's got a flash.
Might look to go down here if Grand Challenge is taking so many tower shots. The top wasn't up yet. He falls.
Solo kill for herself.
Oh, she missed. I think if she hits her, kills her. But the dragon will go over to the side of Final Bastion. This will be soul point for them.
Alpha Cat might be able to kill him.
Oh no, they're not letting Velikos go.
Bingo is here. Oh, she does
Great
go
parry.
driving
Good
right
development.
in, finds that stun with the ultimate and the kill ultimately as well.
Yeah, unfortunately uses the parry early for the damage, and not able to parry the ultimate after Cat seeing that and just getting the kill on top side. CP Trouble Bubble does not land, hits a minion, tower will go down,
Yep.
and
Man,
that's
I'm
all
just
they
nervous
get.
every time,
And
like
they're-
Zoe's
yeah.
in range.
They're doing a decent job of trying to stop the bleeding, I gotta say.
I actually 100% agree. Yeah, they're getting return kills in some of these engages, which honestly, you take those as gold back in your
Yeah.
pocket, much needed gold. I mean, unfortunately, they are still down a little less than 7,000
Yeah.
gold, and they have ejected buddies at the moment. So at this point, I mean, it's like they have to kind of look for like standing gold. Oh,
Bingo gets rooted up there right by Unleashed. Here comes Nature's Grasp, but I think it's
Oh,
going the
no,
wrong direction.
Talia.
Maybe Trouble Bubble finds the Talia. Wildcard's able to pick her up. We have a
Earthy feed.
respawning person right here in the red side jungle. Alphabet Cat does get hooked. He's going to sidestep. He's going to get Shen ultimate, but it doesn't matter because Velikos slings it up in the end. The flash from that Kaisa knocked back by the Maokai. Flaming Shock is on a rampage, ladies and gentlemen.
pretty good parry.
Yeah, it was a really good parry. If she didn't parry that, that's half HP gone right there. Zelda looking for some more poke. Flaming Shock just getting out of the way with the E.
I love how anxious we are getting when we see a paddle star fly.
It's so much damage, and again, she should have enough gold for the death cap as she's basing with 1100 gold now.
1100.
There
Yeah,
it is now.
There it is.
And I hope we see a Shadow Flame coming through here, as there's not a whole lot of magic resist being built. It's starting to be picked up now. A Negatron Cloak for Jungle Gym and a Null Magic Mantle for Unleashed. So those items should be coming through soon, hopefully for them. So it might be Void Step fourth, but that's a lot of AP on Zoe. Yeah, like you just said, 437 AP on Zelda.
That's
Girl.
wow. That's a lot of AP, boys. That's
I mean-
a lot of AP, boys.
And with respect to this gold lead, 6,000 of it is in top lane right now. So as much as it's a 7,000 gold lead for Final Bastion, aside from top lane, the rest of the map is very even.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct because both the bot laners for BYU and Final Bastion are fairly even.
Yeah.
Mid lane is up 2,000 gold, but
Yeah.
the rest of the team is very even.
Dead even, yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely. I mean, it all things considered, I would say that besides top lane, this game is still kind of close. Wildcard.
Yes.
Wildcard got out of that one, very nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
if Velikos overextends too far, gets caught out on a side lane, these team fights look pretty close. It really depends on if BYU can find a pick and don't end up being forced to take a heads up 5v5, because Flaming Shock is very fed. Heya has 3 items for himself, so you really don't want to team fight into this Kaisa, Nautilus, Talia, and Maokai. It's very hard with the champions you have available to you, so you really just gotta find a bush, find an angle, find a pick, and look for positive plays for yourself and finding picks on sides.
Absolutely. I mean, in top lane, like right now, Carter Rule is at the moment, he's just looking to kind of get gold wherever he can.
Yeah.
Does have the Iceborne Gauntlet and working towards what I assume is probably a Frozen Heart. No, I actually don't know what he's working on next.
Oh!
But,
Yeah, it's a shame.
oh.
I'm not 100% sure.
Max
Could be
range
Sunfire
Q,
Cape.
Flaming Shock goes half health, but we have a really nice flank. Two
yeah,
members
I
sitting
see
right
that.
there in that
Ooh.
bush.
Yeah,
Both
if
of
they
them,
can-
and they're
if they
pinging
can
it. They're
find-
ready to go.
Yeah, if they can find Zelda Girl, that's
Yeah, here
great.
comes
Weaver's
Weaver's
Wall.
Wall. Zelda Girl is going to have to pop that Zonia's. Nature's Wrath is going to find 2 members. Bingo has popped his shield, not going to take a lot of damage, but he is still going to get bursted for his life. A really nice taunt coming out from Jim. Jungle Jim's health is getting even more lower, but it does not
Kiana
matter
ult.
because here comes the monster of the top lane. Velikos finds one. He's looking for a tower dive.
Good
Really nice
knockback.
parry. And what a good knockback. Alphabet Cat just saved his life total right there.
Yeah, he has to use the ultimate defensively, which is a little bit unfortunate. You want to use it offensively, but at this point, you just need to get out with your life and hopefully take a good fight here, as it's just these 2 alive. 16 seconds on Zelda Girls. They're
Really
diving for the
nice
Nexus Towers.
stun on
Velikos getting really
Velikos.
down. Flaming Shock really low. Velikos very low HP.
Velikos gets a
Alphabet
Alphabet
Cat
Cat
gets
gets
shut down.
a shut down. Here comes the parry. Does not matter. Stun, shut down,
Oh,
and that
man.
might be game.
We don't have a wave, so they're going to wait for the next one to end the game, and Zoe is back up, so actually I take
Zoe.
it back.
Oh, we back here, guys. Because here comes the monster of the bot lane.
Please
One
relax.
Secret Trouble Bubble equals 1 kill as Nature Grasp is dropped.
Okay, they're backing off. They're going to go get Dragon Soul, though,
Back
so
off.
this this will be Infernal Soul going over to them. And now, unfortunately, I was kind of hoping that this would go to the other side.
Yeah, because Zoe with Infernal Soul is ridiculous. Yeah.
I think they might be able to swing this Dragon
Thankfully
Fight,
for Final Bastion, they don't have it. I highly doubt it. We'll see if Zelda Girl can do some magic here.
She did at the Barons, I mean...
Oh, she finds one. Here comes Pantheon diving right in. He sees Velikaz. I don't know if he's going to be able to get it. He does find that stun. Here comes Shen. He dives right into Sleepy Trouble Bubble, falls onto the jungler. I don't know if Zelda Girl is going to be able to take this Battlestar. He does not.
No.
Unfortunately, Soul going right over to Final Bastion. A good attempt, but was not met with a positive outcome, I guess.
Weaving that Pedal Store around the dragon was crazy, by the way. That sucked. That's so hard to do from the angle they were at. Unfortunately, not quite enough. They will be able to catch these waves, stave off the game for now, but that will be Soul for Final Bastion.
And this,
Yeah.
oh my gosh. This,
I mean, and Baron's on the map as well. I do not expect anything to come out of this. I mean, I think Final Bastion is going to get the Baron. They're just going to kind of melt it. Kaisa
Should
does
be
have
pretty
3
easy.
items, so this should be pretty dunzo. They also have no vision in the area, so they won't even know it's gone. Well, maybe I guess the Ferris will give it away. But this will be gone before they can even react whatsoever. And the Baron just goes over for free, and now it's a 10,000 gold.
Might have Zonius on his recall here. He does have the Seeker's Arm Guard and the stopwatch. If he has Zonius completed, that makes Elder's job much harder, and he does.
There it is.
So that makes it a lot harder to find these picks. You really want to kill this Kaisa, and Kaisa with stopwatch is very hard to kill, especially with the front line that they have
does
available.
have Maw of the Malice now.
I mean, that's fair, but you have to
call
get
it
through the
Malice,
true damage first. You have to get the Fiora 2 damage.
Yeah, Fiora true damage, Kaisa passive does a lot, and the percent pen from Ginsu's Rage Blade is quite a lot. It's 18% magic pen with the 4 items. So even though you have Maw of Malmortius, it's only 50 MR. It's still quite a lot. But the fact that your Kiana's being
it's a nice shield chunk though.
Yeah, the fact that your Kiana's being forced to build Guardian Angel and Maw this early is a little bit rough. I think potentially getting an Edge of Night instead of one of these 2 items would be a little bit nicer, just so you can't get 100-0 in CC right away. But with the layered CC that they have, it's really hard to teamfight on this Kiana.
Indeed, and they're just going to push this in. I mean, mid lane inhibitor should be coming up soonish. I think maybe another minute or 2.
Zelda Girl finds a Sleepy Trouble Bubble and unleashed at a half health bar.
Oh,
Take the tower though.
Fiora splitting in the bot lane with 2 inhibitors down.
But here comes Velikaz, he's gonna find Alphabet Cat. Here comes the hook, here comes the team fight. Grand challenge popped onto Zelda Girl. Helped by him. Velikaz takes out the monster of the bot lane. He's gonna dive right into the top lane. He's gonna get taunted as well. Stun followed up by the Pantheon. His health bars have health as well. Curator rolls to try to jump on a flaming shot. Does not work. BYU, you put up a valiant fight, but triple kill all over the flaming shot.
Absolutely. Game 1 does go over to the side of Final Bastion. So, I mean, but unfortunately, I'm gonna actually. So by the end of that game, Velikaz had an 8,000 gold lead on his opponent. So most of it was that 14,000 gold lead. 8 of it was on him alone.
Yeah.
Homeboy absolutely styled on the amount of gold that he had in that top lane. Played very well. But like we said, if Velikaz was not there, the rest of the fights would have been. So unfortunately, the top lane just got out of control with the snowball. Again, it's not Carter's fault at all. I mean,
No,
he played that as well as he could have.
The only thing he could have done there to make it easier is, like I mentioned, just die to crash the wave. Because allowing Fiora to freeze for 6 minutes and generate an 80 CS lead by 10 minutes before the plates have even fallen is just something you can't allow to happen. And at some point, you just have to die to crash the wave, or you need to have Alphabet Cat come up and help you break the freeze, which they weren't able to do. So Velikaz taking full advantage of that, dealing 31,000 damage. And I will say, Zelda Girl did 32,500 damage on the Zoe. Unfortunately, they just weren't able to find the picks that they needed to with this composition. Too many heads-up 5v5 team fights happened, and Flamin' Shock did really well. I mean, the Weaver's Walls were exceptional, and they just team fought super well.
I agree,
100%.
And if anything, I mean, final thoughts for you two before we go to break. I mean, the only thing, my final thought really is just don't let top lane snowball like that again. I mean, just you gotta put men up there to take care of Velikaz. Otherwise, this will happen again in game 2 if, let's say, they get another carry top laner. But other than that, everything else I thought went fine. They got picks where they could. They were pretty much even across the rest of the board. Just you gotta get control of that top lane, and that's all I have for my final thoughts.
That's it for me too. Yeah.
That's it for me as well.
Okay, well that'll do it for us then. That's game 1 going over to Final Bastion. What changes will BYU have to make in game 2? We'll talk about it when we come back in just a moment.
Yeah, that's I mean, you can tell that there's only one trick. You can tell.
They were gaming.
Yeah, I mean, it's
I think so.
I'll leave the game.
looks like they're going.
I'll leave.
Just one of those situations.
Throw me the invite link. What do you do?
That means they're actually going to make it 80 carries. That's why.
They are. It's because of the time. Looks like, I would assume, because they said they might have to set her up for.
These guys across all players, no causes success.
Yeah, but we still don't have enough. There's wild cards. And then Blessed has the. Maybe it's something. Issues, huh?
Everybody, we back. Draft Wall seems to be breaking OBS, and we have zero idea why.
Yeah,
so
it's
that's
great.
kind of cool. It's
We are
pretty
out
great.
there.
OBS is a
Oh.
fully functioning program, so
It
draft is
is,
going
yes.
on.
Fully
right this
functional.
moment. Fully functional. So it's gonna be full draft, no cams, and I'll chime in whenever. But these two are gonna still head it. So let's go to it. You're not gonna see our pretty faces this time.
Unfortunately not. Bans are looking fairly similar. The one difference is for Final Bastion, they're banning Ezreal this time around, which is a little bit different. The 3 bans
is
for
kinda weird.
BYU are exactly the same. I'm not sure what
Oh,
they...
that makes sense.
The sub.
Uh,
the sub.
The
Yes,
sub,
we do
the
have a
sub.
substitute AD
forgot
carry.
about
It's
that.
Blessed instead of Zelda Girl, so we will see different bans for the side of Final Bastion. That's why Ezreal and Sivir are being banned. The reason why we have a substitution is for not performance related or anything like that, just time constraints.
He's
Uh,
too
so-
good.
So
Get him
un-
off our team. He's
so
making us look
unfortunately,
bad.
unfortunately, we won't see Zelda Girl for the rest of this series, but we will see Blessed instead, and we'll see what they end up first picking. I know Aphelios is super strong in this patch. Ash has been rising in priority. Misfortune has been rising in priority. Instead,
Yeah.
we'll go with first pick Lulu. Not something you see first pick too often. There are quite a lot of supports that can counter this. You can counter it with other enchanter lanes, something like Sona, Yumi, things like that match its scaling or are better. And also some engaged lanes are pretty good, as much as Polymorph is a strong ability. Things like Blitzcrank and Rel are pretty strong into Lulu just because of her lack of health and survivability in lane aside from her shield and polymorph. We are going to first pick Maokai. I'm wondering if they're going to pick Jace with it. I'm not sure if Velikaz plays it, but that is a very strong combo. They are just going to go Maokai, Kaisa, look for support. I would actually expect them to just pick their full bot lane here, as they already see support, so just counter pick support is a little bit stronger in my opinion. They are
We're
going to
gonna go with the Ash instead. Okay.
Okay, trying to find some more CC. Didn't seem to be an issue last game, but it depends on what they're looking to draft for the rest of their bot lane. Potentially a different support pick. Maybe we'll see Heimerdinger Ash come back or something like that. And I would expect Aphelios to be picked here. What do you think?
I think they're grabbing the Ash based off of the fact that they have that Lulu in lane,
Mhm.
and maybe they saw Lucian. They're like, okay, if Kaisa, me gonna dive in, I will instantly get polymorphed as soon as I use
Yeah.
my Hunter's Instinct. So let's do the same like idea with Crystal Arrow.
Yeah, the only issue I have is with the side of BYU. I don't really like Lucian Lulu. It does work, but when you have things like Milio and Nami both open, I don't really see a reason not to pick those if you are looking to pick Lucian. They are going to pick Gragas. My expectation is for that to be top lane. That's its most commonly played role. With Ash, where there's a number of different things we can go with. Braum is possible. Nautilus is possible. You saw those hovered. Also, you can go with we can go with poke supports as well. Milio is super strong with Ash, giving her the extra range to help against the champion like Lucian, just to help trading. You can get in first, or you can just go with more CC. Nautilus is going to be the pick. Works really well. Helps them survive lane and really, like I said, counteracts the all-in with Lulu Lucian, and is one of the supports that's really commonly picked. Andy Bandway again makes a lot of sense.
Fiora ban. I
Yeah.
like it. I dig it. I respect it.
Yeah, especially if you're gonna be if that
If you gotta
Gragas
play
is
weak
not.
side.
Yeah, if you're gonna be playing weak side and that Gragas isn't in top lane, because Gragas into Fiora is pretty an AFK lane, and you have a much easier time breaking freezes and just controlling the lane yourself, because you pretty much can't die in that lane, and you can do whatever you want with the wave with Gragas Q and E, and he has a lot of sustain. Even though he is nerfed, he's still a very solid pick. GP as well, so that's definitely a target ban. Not a whole lot of things, not something you'd really ban if you're looking to put Gragas top lane, or if you're looking to counter pick top. Although since they are red side, they can R5 top lane. So depending on what you're looking for, GP ban can be good if it's a tank like Ornn or Sion, something like that.
I don't know. I'm trying to figure out where this Gragas would go. I like the Azir hover here,
Yeah.
with Nautilus, Crystal Arrow,
Something, yeah.
Maokai,
It's-
but change it up, go for Ari.
Okay.
Okay.
It's not really something you see paired with Maokai too often, although it's one of the better mid lanes on the patch. And just any CC mid with setup with Maokai works very well. We saw the Talia last game, Ari, Annie, Nico, Malzahar, pretty much anything like that can work really well with Maokai. Azir is also a very strong mid laner. It's a very difficult thing to pull off. And especially blind, there's a few matchups that are pretty hard. And there's the Nico, which I'm assuming is mid lane. And this Gragas is probably top or jungle. We'll see what they pick
I would think it
here.
would go to the jungle just because Alpha Cat does play.
He does, yeah.
He does play those like AP heavy kind of champions. So I wouldn't
Mhm.
be surprised if Gragas went jungle.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised either. It's fine into Maokai. The only issue is with these lanes, and yeah, it is going to be Gragas Jung. We're going to blind pick Shen once again. Mordekaiser is open, but we do have a lot of AP, so I don't know if they'll end up going with that counter pick. It's my favorite Shen counter. It
Camille is
just
open.
wins the entire time. Camille is a little bit of a harder matchup. Jace, there it is. Yeah, it's
There it is.
such a strong pairing with Maokai, especially when you have like in Chen and Crystal Arrow, Nautilus CC, Ari Charm. It's a lot of not as much poke as you would have with something like Ezreal or Varus, which are usually the AD carries you see paired with something like Maokai Jace. But when you have Ari and you have Ashe, you can kind of look for more picks with this Jace and with this Maokai, especially paired with a support like Nautilus. They have a ton of pick potential, and they still have that team fighting power. With Ashe actually does a lot of damage since her Q buffs.
She does a lot of damage. But I wanna get Freak's opinion
Yes.
on what BYU ended up drafting with their ADC that has changed. What do you think, Freak?
So I'm having thoughts, especially
Yeah.
because you picked Lulu, but you picked Lucian, which is not saying
Yes.
Lucian is a
Yeah.
bad pick necessarily.
Yeah,
I
I'm
rather
exactly
would
the
have
same.
liked something like the Aphelios,
Yep.
for instance,
Yep.
or arguably even the
Maybe
Twitch
even-
as well,
I
or
was gonna say,
Kog'Maw. You
maybe
know,
even a Twitch.
yeah, it's because Twitch is, and you've said it yourself. Actually, it was Darter who was saying it. Twitch is broken. No one
It's so
realizes it.
strong. It's the permaban I use in solo queue.
I
Is something
can't
that's
pull it
super
off,
annoying
so
to
I
deal
don't
with.
play it. And I know no one else is gonna play it. And if I see it, I'm like, damn, it's a good Twitch. I already know.
Yeah. But it's just as I'm going through, like I'm not gonna dog on the Lucian pick, obviously, because
No,
Lucian is
no.
still a really strong champion. I
Oh,
just
yeah,
wish
sure.
if they had decided they were going to pick Lucian, they'd pick Nami instead. So I think
Yes,
maybe
yeah.
first pick the Nico, arguably, because it's open, and then
Yep.
do like Lucian Nami next up in the rotation. But
Yeah,
Mhm.
B2, B3.
I think it'll be okay. The Gragas jungle is something we don't see terribly often. We see him more in the
Nope.
top lane and the mid lane,
Yeah.
especially in the LPL. You'll see him in the top lane. You
Yeah.
have
It's just
players like the Shy who plays him, and
It's the
Wayward as
classic-
well.
yeah.
I don't know. I'm glad you brought that up because I was
his
fixing
Gragas
to
is
bring it
terrible.
up because I don't know what the Shy drinks when he decides to play Gragas.
He
It's gotta
dismisses
be
everything.
it's gotta be
He's-
busted juice.
He's
because-
he's drinking the same thing that Gragas is. He's definitely not sober when he's playing that champ. He misses everything. But like, yeah, Gragas is the do all lane counter to top lane. It
Yeah.
doesn't really lose any matchup. You can just go AFK in every
Yeah.
matchup. Really, like recently, we've been seeing the Crocodile Renekton being picked blind because it has a pretty favorable matchup into Gragas. You can actually contest push and out trade him, especially with the sustain nerfs. It actually
Yeah.
sticks now, so that's a matchup that's pretty good for him. But other than that, like, there's really nothing else that really wins lane into Gragas because Gragas can just do whatever he wants, and he will always be useful with the amount of crowd control and displacement he has in his kit.
I mean,
And
and
then
the way
go ahead.
Alphabet Cat piloted that Kiana, like I'm actually really, really excited to see how they throw their barrels
Mhm.
for these big, objective fights too.
Yeah, I agree. That
Yeah.
could be pretty cool, something to see, because Gragas Bros can make or break a fight, and it's especially
Yeah.
if they're trying to bring in the really immobile Ashe into your team. That's something
Yeah.
that could be really disgusting. Combining it with the Nico ultimate as well. There's potential for combos that what I'm seeing. Speaking of Nico is broken. I have
Yeah,
played
champ
this
is so
champion.
OP, man.
She is
Oh my
so
God.
strong. The fact that you can change into minions, change into plants, change into neutral monsters, except
Yeah.
Baron and Rift Herald, obviously, and dragons.
Yeah.
But the fact that you can disguise yourself and make plays with it. M&S played it, I think, a couple of days ago, and
Yes.
completely baited in. I forget who they were playing as a cannon minion and wiped them all
Yes,
in that
So
fight.
I know the
It's
clip you're
so
talking
good.
about.
Like,
I
That-
was gonna make a reference to that because I'm like, just
Yeah.
imagine you're there, you're contesting vision, and then just a cannon minion rolls up in the river, and you're like,
Yeah.
what's going on here?
yeah, and then
Yeah.
so Shen once again for the top side for Carter, so that's fine. But I think that matchup is actually a little easier into
It's
the
more
Jace.
playable, yeah.
It's more playable because like Jace usually typically will play ranged anyways at first,
Yeah.
unless he knows he can all in you, which that's
is
not
Velikaz,
typically
though.
until later in the game. Yeah, this is
Yes.
Velikaz, it's true, but
Velikaz, he's probably gonna be rocking that hammer more than
Yeah,
than the
I mean, we'll
blasting
see. I mean,
wand.
Hammer Form is Jace is really good into Shen just because of Hammer Form E and knocks him
Yeah.
out of the W, and you have the slow on the W and just the amount
Oh,
of burst
I
potential
am
that the
being
champion
summoned.
has. and the Shen just can't do anything really to a empowered shock blast except for dodge it and hide behind minions. So
Yeah.
it's not an easy lane, but it's definitely easier than Fiora, because Fiora just wins that matchup at all stages of the lane, and it just gets worse and worse as the lane goes on, unless Shen is able to keep somewhat close, has jungle pressure, is able to somewhat limit the Fiora and kind of stay within 1,000, 2,000 gold of her, and kind of, because once Shen gets items, he can actually do a lot, because Shen base damage is very high. A lot of people don't respect Shen damage, but it's very
yeah.
high. So especially if he is going tank into Titanic Hydra, if he has some of that gold that he needs in a matchup like Fiora, you can actually side lane pretty efficiently. But Jace is a harder matchup early than Fiora is, but it's easier later.
Yeah, 100% agree. And now I'm going to focus a little on the mid lane matchup. The mid lane matchup is kind of one of those I won't say hit or miss. I will say it's kind of a skill matchup more or less,
Yes,
because
it
Nico
is.
has a little less outplayability than Ari does, because Ari does
Yeah.
have the 3 dashes with her ultimate. But I mean, if you can just get the drop on her, then obviously that's so much better. Anyways, jungle
Yeah.
matchup I feel like is going to be kind of even, because assuming these are both tank junglers, and this is not full AP Gragas jungle, mind you,
Yes,
because
I hope not.
so there's that. And then in the bot lane you have Nautilus Ashe. There's a lot of CC potential down there.
Mm-hmm.
Nautilus is all I will say. That's a lot of the CC on his own.
It's
But then you have
like 6
Ashe
second
ultimate
CC chain.
and Q's as well. So these matchups are going to be pretty spicy. And let's go ahead and go ahead with Dragon Soul, since we didn't do it in the last game. So
Yes.
we'll
And I
start
have
with
turns.
Darter first, and we'll come down.
Since we had Infernal last game, I'm gonna go with Hex Tech this game.
Okay.
It's a soul that both of these teams can do a lot with, and the slow does a lot for them in team fights. Just pretty much guarantees Nico ultimate if you just auto somebody. So that should be huge for them. And Ashe with Hex Tech ultimate, Hex Tech Drake, you just cannot run away from.
Hyper?
It's kind of disgusting. I'm gonna say Cloud Soul because I want to see Nico ults left and right.
Understandable. I mean,
Yeah.
that is the thing. I get that.
I want to
So-
see the meanest flanks with the map change go through
Yeah,
like jungle.
I want to see
come up
Gromp roam
behind.
down to bot lane. That's what I want to see.
Hell yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I want to see.
I
Cloud
think-
Soul for me.
What am I feeling? I'm kind of feeling Ocean this game, to be honest with you.
Okay.
'Cause, like, that sustain
That's
on either
kinda
one
It's really good for
hilarious.
gonna
BYU.
be kinda
It's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, if it's Ocean Soul, BYU really wants that, because it really just entirely negates Jace poke, because they're forced to all in against Ocean Soul. So Final Bastion will definitely prioritize those dragons if it is Ocean. We'll see what it is when we get into game. I think the one Dragon Soul that both teams are really going to prioritize the most would be Mountain, if we see
Mountain. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
because both of these teams, as much as they have frontline, if any one of these carries gets Mountain Soul, they can really become hard to kill.
Absolutely. And
mean-
and we have final thoughts, lads.
I mean, we're gonna. You brought up if any of these carries gets Mountain Soul, they'll be hard to
Yeah.
kill. Any of these carries at the moment are hard to kill. They
lot
gotta
of
get
dashes,
through
yeah.
some beefy boys just to get to
Yeah.
a single
Yeah.
carry.
Yeah.
And Final Bastion and BYU have 2 of them.
Yes, yeah. This is a much more standard draft from BYU, a very large departure from what they had last game. And I think it'll suit them pretty well, because we saw they were team fighting really well. Just the picks didn't
Yeah.
enable them enough,
Mhm.
and they weren't really entirely playing into their composition's strength, which is finding people in rotation, taking picks. They were kind of forced into these 5v5 scenarios, and that's not what their comp really plays well towards. Which is why we saw them be so one-sided to one way, despite like there was a 14k gold difference. But like we mentioned, it was 8,000 of that was in top lane, so it's really only like a 6k gold diff, and that should be at least marginally fightable, not that one-sided, despite the soul going over. So this team comp will enable them to team fight a lot easier. So I would expect it to be much closer.
Okay, Hyper, final thoughts.
Since Carter Rules is going to be going up against a Jace this time around, I really don't expect that top lane gold difference to be so drastic.
No, it certainly can
But it can be, yeah.
be. It certainly can be.
got a
Jace is
point.
really oppressive, especially like Alphabet Cat really needs to hover topside more, because as much as Shen has a strong early game, Jace can just sit back in ranged form and just auto creeps, just poke, and just AFK farm. And Jace is pretty good at holding freezes. He can just completely smack you off of wave, and his base damage is very high, especially even like on
Yeah.
first base with one serrated Dirk. Jace hurts a lot, especially if he goes with the similar build he did last time, which is Sheen first item. He's going to be taking a lot of damage pretty early.
Well, I
That's
think
very true.
Yeah, very true. But I think that'll do it for us. We're going to go into spectator delay. So when we return, we will be back for game 2 between these two teams. Well, what's going to happen? Game 3? Or is it going to be an unfortunate 2-0? That would be our first 2-0
I hope we
because
get a-
all of
I
our
hope
games
we
have
get a
We're
gone up
getting a
in
game
series.
3. I don't know.
I
what
hope we
you're
get a game
talking
3. We
about.
have to get a game 3. Don't want to
Yeah.
end the series early.
You heard it here
We're-
first. Don't want to hear it. We want a game 3. So we'll see you guys in a few minutes.
Boom.
I will be.
This city never sleeps, chemically brought down on its knees. With every breath that I breathe, clenched fists and gritting teeth. Tonight the energy flowing in me is waiting for release. Thunder beneath my feet, I sight you on my until the dawn, the darkness falls, and I lose control. I feel it in my bones, a spark to lead us through the shadows. Can I fight the way before me? It's coursing through my soul, a road to guide us through the sorrow. Can I calm this storm inside me? This electricity, a part of me that's under pressure. Charged up, my fuse igniting. A sight you wanna see. I'm outside, pointing to the sky. Gonna make the earth shake, 'cause you can't contain me. Voltage burst through the black of my eyes. Put my finger on the trigger and I'll shock you, baby. Against the odds, until the dawn, the darkness falls, and I lose control. I feel it in my bones, a spark to lead us through the shadows. Can I fight the way before me? It's coursing through my soul, a road to guide us through the sorrow. Can I calm this storm inside me? I feel it in my bones, a spark to lead us through the shadows. Can I fight the way before me? It's coursing through my soul, a road to guide us through the sorrow. Can I calm this storm inside me? I feel it in my bones, a spark to lead us through the shadows. Can I fight the way before me? It's coursing through my soul, a road to guide us through the sorrow. Can I calm this storm inside me? This storm inside me.
Welcome back to the Rift for Game 2 of BYU versus Final Bastion. Very different draft from BYU, a very similar draft from Final Bastion. First Drake of the game is
A cloud.
Cloud. So you're wrong already, Hyper. And both teams opting for a 5 point
need a
this time.
game 3 because I can't not get one a cast.
Oh, you definitely can't get one. I've done it a lot of times.
No. I've gotten one each week. I need to get at least one. Well, I did get 2 last week, so I
Yes,
guess
yeah.
I guess one can carry over.
Yeah.
So I've got a controversial question for y'all.
Mm-hmm.
So Alphabet Cat is using the Fnatic Gragas skin from when Fnatic won Season 1 Worlds. Now,
Yes.
people have debated that doesn't count because technically Asia was not a
Yes,
part of
Asia
Worlds
did
until
not have
Season
their
3.
servers. Yes.
So would you
Whoa.
argue that EU hasn't technically won Worlds yet?
No.
Yes. Yes, I would.
No, I don't
Nico
have
definitely
items.
has no items.
Wow, Nico has no items.
I don't know if
think
she
she's 'cause she's-
sees that.
I think because she's
Maybe bugged
transformed
because
as
she's
Lucian at the start of the
disguised.
game.
Yeah,
So
we'll see.
What is she
'cause we-
disguised as?
Lucian right now.
Lucian.
Oh,
We'll see if
So
she
she
undisguises
should
if she
her
has
item
items.
should show in a second when she changes
Yeah.
back.
Hopefully.
Nice.
I hope
I'll
for- I
keep
hope
my
for that case.
screen. I'll keep my screen on her.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's fun. So Riot Games being Riot Games, the blue buff is being started on both sides of the for the junglers. So this is gonna be a little bit of a, I wouldn't say exactly a split map per se, but they're gonna be looking towards, see there her items right now.
Yeah, her items are back. Okay.
All right, so she's gonna be looking, not she, but the junglers looks like they're gonna be going to opposite sides of the map here. I'm anticipating full clears from both of them. Not entirely sure. So I think Maokai is gonna be wanting to get Velikos ahead to ensure that this Jace can be that obnoxious poke champion that he can be later into the game. Gragas on the opposite side wants to get this Lucian ahead so he can be that late damage carry, and that hook almost hit, but good sidestep coming
Bless sidestep that one really clean.
through.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
I think even if that hook did land, I don't know if it's that great for them because the trade, you're both still level 1. You can't get the damage onto Bless, but it can look pretty bad. We'll see if Jungle Gym looks for another one here at level 2. But I would expect these bot laners to be fighting quite a lot early on. That's what you want to do as Lucian.
Yeah,
he is
Maokai
backing down. We're gonna
just
see a gank pretty
full
early.
He's
gonna level 3
now.
this.
Oh, that
goodness.
flash coming out from Jungle Gym. Blessed is trying to do the autoing as he can, but he is exhausted. Jungle Gym's health bar get very low.
Okay.
They trade 1 for 1.
Woo!
Blessed is knocked back to the tower. He's gonna get slowed up, and Ash is just gonna walk him down.
Oh, boy.
Flaming Shock got 2 on the board.
Whew, that's not exactly the kind of thing you want to see from your bot lane early. Unleash taking great advantage of the massive push that Blessed and Bingo were able to get early. He ends up going 3 camps straight into bot gank, getting 2 kills over to Flamin' Shock. He did start with Cull. We'll see on his base. He's currently sitting on 1,200 gold. He can just back pretty much after this wave and get a full Noon Quiver already, which is quite a lot at this stage in the game. Other than that, the 700 gold from kills, it's not too bad in the grand scheme of things. We're gonna have a Roman mid lane.
Nautilus is mid lane.
Wow, Jungle
He's hex
Gym
flashing.
looking for 1. Gonna get the Hex Flash. Gonna get nothing
Nico
for
flash
it, but
too.
Alphabet
No,
Cat
Nico
is
flash.
down
Bot
here in
lane.
the bot lane. He does see Flaming Shock all alone and force the flash. I call that work every day.
I agree, and Directed Cam kind of trolling us and taking us there in the top lane, so that was cool. But if you were paying attention with your own cameras, then everyone definitely saw. But good charm in the mid lane.
Oh, what a great route as well. Wildcard caught out there. Unleashes.
So she died.
Massive
Close.
gank.
It's a trade.
The laners trade each other. Nico gets the solo kill. I think she comes out on top on that one.
Gold-wise, no, but experience-wise, yes.
Yeah, Summoners-wise also no, as Wildcard has to burn his flash, but Want to See a Trick won't burn theirs. And I would have liked to see him flash the Nico E because he had the auto animation in flight. Still, if he can flash up to the left and dodge and get the auto off, he's fine. But nonetheless, they do end up getting a trade kill, which is, I mean, if you're Wildcard, that's about the best you can hope for with a play like that. As we'll see, Alphabet Cat clearing bot might look for another bot gank here as Flaming Shock and Jungle Gym are pushed in. We'll see if he does after Raptors, or after his Krugs, excuse me. And Unleashed is opting to finally clear his top side as his Wolves and Grompa respawn.
Yeah, and my original plan that I predicted that Alphabet Cat was gonna start top side and half down bot lane got
Velikos flashing from Cater.
He went for the
Cater
insect
Rules
and missed.
right there. Don't know what that was for. He's gonna get slowed up. Cater Rules
Whoa.
thought about going in, flashed behind himself.
Dodge a Q.
There he dodges it. Can't dodge autos though. Sorry.
Yeah, that flash was way too late. He steps back in for a split second. If he just fully commits to running away, he might be able to live there. Unfortunately, he doesn't. Velikos also making a bit of a mistake. He tried to flash behind Carter Rules and E him under tower. Doesn't quite get that off correctly. Fortunately for him, he does get the kill and the flash still. So ends up working out for him. That's exactly what you want to see from your Jason top lane, getting solo kills. His Wildcard is going on to Want to See a Trick.
Wildcard goes right onto Want to See a Trick. Nice ultimate coming out from him. Charm still down. Back into the bot lane. We have a
Flash on
gank from
Lucian.
Unleashed. Bless is singled out from his team, but here comes the Shen TP. It does go through. Knockback coming out from the Maokai. Taunt coming over from the Shen, really clean. Jungle Jim's health bar get very low. Polymorph from the Lulu. One picked up by Bless. And Flame and Shock's got lethal tempo procced, and Lulu auto passives going through. What a turn of events there in the bot lane.
Yeah, great ultimate from Carter Rules, and thankfully he has Alphabet Cat to cover off top sides. Velikaz isn't able to do too much there. Hopefully he's able to stop him from freezing the wave, which he definitely can do with the wave in this state. Wildcard crashing a wave in here, and no solo kill coming in from that mid fight. Pop Blossom popped, and Wannacy still has Flash, by the way. Did not have ultimate for that fight either. So he has full summoners still. Wildcard still down his Flash and TP, so Wannacy will base and most likely TP given the wave state in mid lane. Alphabet Cat taking a huge chunk. I feel like I was dealing half HP there with the Q in on hammer form, as he has this rate of dirt completed already.
I wanted to point out briefly that going back to that mid lane fight, that because of that solo X,
Alphabet Cat's dead.
Alphabet Cat might just get soloed right here.
If Shock Flash lands, yeah, he's dead.
Yeah.
One more Q, and that'll be one more kill for Velikaz. Plus 300.
Interesting.
Wave does crash though, so no freeze for him, but I mean 300 gold is more than you can ask for, especially when your jungler is covering top wave, and 3 cloth armors purchased for Carter Rules right now.
Definitely going towards
maybe one for the boots and the other 2 for Brambles?
Yeah, that's probably what he's going to be doing. Or it could be Iceborne again, but it's just interesting that mid lane fight, before we go to that top lane fight, is the solo XP from that kill that Nico got gained her to level 6 before Ari did. So that's why that wild card was confident in that play. Unfortunately, not having very much damage couldn't get the kill. Ari doesn't have to burn flash, blah blah blah. Top lane, it was a little weird play from Alphabet Cat. Look at the damage he's about to do.
Yeah, it's kind of gross. Oh, the Q tanks that shot though, gets a really clean stun off. But I don't know if Carter Rules can get out of this one. Velikaz just walking him down, jumps forward with that hammer, bringing the hammer down, but takes a tower shot in the end.
Yeah, he wasn't quite up.
Ash arrow.
Way too wide. Way too wide.
Lands the stun, but it does not matter. Velikaz isn't here because that belly slam goes right in. Gonna get that stun. Tries to knock him back. Alphabet Cat trying to find him in the cove. He does shut down for BYU.
Yeah, I thought the Asher would miss, but Carter Rules playing behind his tower there, just trying not to get hit by a Shock Blast. Alphabet Cat picking up the kill as Velikaz overstays just a touch with TP available. Alphabet Cat trying to proxy the top wave.
Interesting.
He should be available. They know Unleashed is bot lane, so yeah, given this proxy, he will have to TP. I'm curious to see if he's able to punish Alphabet Cat. His Carter Rules is recalling as he's low HP.
Here he goes. Oh, he missed.
Should be okay. Yeah, if he hit the Shock Blast, it might be different. Looks like Lucian is having a bit of having ping problems, so we'll see if we have a pause here in a second if it persists.
Oh my goodness.
1,000, wow.
Yeah.
So doesn't look like they're gonna pause. It's probably a brief thing. It looks like Lucian is camped out, trying to figure it out, I would assume. But
yeah, we'll see.
I mean, if it was me, I would pause instantly the second.
I would too. Yeah.
Yeah, instantly.
Yeah, he's almost up near 2,000 ping now, so I would not be surprised if we see a pause.
Okay, it's coming down. It's coming down.
Definitely should. It might be okay.
Steam is downloading something probably.
Steam is downloading, yeah. Auto downloads. Fortnite is updating. You know, never know.
Maybe someone was using the microwave.
Yep.
All right. As the meme lords say, we're so Barack. We're back, baby. But
what a charm! Nature's grasp.
Oh, uses
W
to tank it.
Oh, the clone does tank it.
Oh no!
Hit by one aspect of it, gets a really nice boot, forcing the flash out of Unleash. He does take a tower shot in the end.
The
flash charm misses.
They're pinging it. Oh, Ash Arrow just also goes wide as well.
Yeah.
We're just fighting all over the map at the moment, but I mean,
he's gonna dive right in right there. He's gonna get that.
Why did he flash out?
Out on Bingo. I don't know why he flashed out. Jungle Jim flashing right on in. Bless is gonna get a little bit of extra shielding. He's gonna dash right into Jungle. Jim comes through. Comes Carter Rules. Oh, I don't know if that shield shaped him.
I think Bless could have been a much more aggressive there. Does still end up getting the kill. It is traded 1 for 1. Carter Rules with the great ultimate. Alphabet Cat once again able to cover the top side. Hopefully doesn't end up with the same fate as last time he did this. We certainly will see. As Unleashed is in top lane, he might be able to. Wildcard is going up to potentially stop a Rift Herald play. Will be 3v2.
Oh, yes. Velikaz is here. Don't know if they're going to be able to get this one. Oh, I don't know who's able to grab that. Alphabet Cat now pick up the eye. Unleashed does not pick up the eye either. And this is a 2v2. They take out the jungler. Velikos is looking for a wild card to try to, really clean root right there. But I think he just, I think he just walks him down.
Yeah, no flash, not able. Yeah, just taking it down. And Jay's picking up
Who
that
grabbed the eyes?
Jace
Okay,
did.
he grabbed it.
It's a huge injection of gold for him. That'll be potentially a full tower, because I don't know if Bingo can do much to hold this. So it should be another 3 plates.
2,500. That's the gold lead right now, and it just went up more to. It's gonna be 2,000 unless he defeats the tower, but I don't think he gets it. It's close.
He's sticking around. Taunt misses.
Oh, he gets it.
Oh, he misses the taunt. I think Velikos is gonna try to jump onto Bingo, but he changes his mind and goes on to Carter rules, knocks him back into the support, and he just, drops the.
Alphabet had like a bot lane. Unleash is here as well. They know Bingo's not here.
Oh, arrow.
Enchanted Crystallizer is going way wide that time, unfortunately, so nothing should come of this unless Unleash wants to use the Nature's Grasp.
Bless is getting really aggressive right there. Oh man, boys.
We'll see if they dive this. They certainly can.
Ari is
Trick
coming
is
down
here.
Oh
Has
no,
the
they're gonna
ultimate
do
available.
this.
Spirit rushes up.
Alphabet Cat looking for something. He's going to get the root. Nature's Grasp going to come through. The charm's also going to land. And the CC, chain CC is just too unbearable. Alphabet Cat is getting a bunch of shielding from that Lulu, calling just enough to dissuade them from any further
They
pursuit.
can turn this.
I gotta say, arguably that was pretty good defense. I have to say, it looked like for a moment that it was dire. I was expecting the Lulu ult to come out onto Alphabet Cat, but in the end, I mean, everything is okay. So we have a Chem type Drake up next.
Oh, wildcard uses.
Jungle Gym dive right in. Want to see Trick does not land anything right there, but here comes that Nico ultimate. It does not hit anybody, unfortunately. Shut down going right over to Lucian. Picks up the Ash. Unleash is there in the river. Nature's Grasp is still down. Jungle Gym uses that hook, trying to get out of there, but it does not matter because double kill over to the ADC.
Yeah, the bit of anti-synergy there as the cast goes down, which completely negates the Pop Blossom. You kind of want to see it go the other way around. Potentially they could secure an extra kill or two there. Still, getting a double kill onto Bless is a lot. He's now sitting at 5-1. Only 500 gold up, though, as Flaming Shock did get those kills earlier in the game, and there's not too much to see. It's just 10. And once again, we're seeing top lane go. Oh my god.
They're trying to fight this. Oh, Velikos' health bar is getting taken down very low. He's got the Ignite taken down.
Nice arrow.
Zerl is going to land onto the Shen. He is full of health. He has every member with CC available for final Bastion to hit him. He falls in the end.
Oh, I think you give mid tower for Drake.
Yeah.
No, I mean you want to
Yes,
stop the
yes,
dragon
yes,
back
yes,
in that
yes,
instant.
yes.
So unfortunately, oh no, another good charm landing.
Shouldn't come too much of it. It's Gragas. He's a tanky little boy, even though he doesn't have any items completed. It's still Gragas, hard to kill. That'll be tower going down. And what I was going to say before that fight broke out and we saw the Jace damage is top lane is shaping up to look a lot like it did last game. He's up 60 CS. Nearly. It's 55 CS difference, and it's a 5,000 gold lead in top lane in 14 minutes at the end of lane phase. He's TPing top. He'll get another kill here.
Carter rules TPs.
Nah, he's dead.
He's dead 100%. He's dead.
Velikos barely shows up and just blows him up. Oh, that's unfortunate.
That's TP's not just unfortunate. It's a little more than that as he dies and gives over more CS, more gold. And if they don't cover off this top tier 2, it'll be a little bit worse.
Let's just casually admire, you know, the 5,500 gold lead.
But
Flash.
Blessed is
Culling goes
very
completely wide.
Culling going to
Blessed is too deep here. He's dead.
He should be up in a second.
He's dead guaranteed.
Oh yeah, he does not find it. He goes on
trade. Oh.
Alphabet Cat might die. We'll see.
Oh, really nice airborne and stun right there.
Carter
Good
Rules is coming
trade
in.
damage. Here comes Carter Rules. But there are just so many.
Velikos wins this 1v2.
Oh
yeah, I was
Arrow.
Yeah, Velikos 100% wins that 1v2. They know that well enough, and they don't end up committing for it. I hope they don't try to, as that'll be one fed Jace more so than he already is.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And gold lead and bot lane completely flipping as the shutdown going over, and Flaming Shock now up 200 gold as we have a TP from Wildcard down in the bot lane. Might be
Arrow
canceled here,
completed
does not
for-
quite.
Oh, go through. Okay, so I want to talk about items real quick because Jace
Yeah.
has 2 of them. The Muramana
Yes,
has
he
already
does.
been completely stacked, mind
Yes,
you.
it
And he's
has.
going towards
Oh,
his
it
third
has.
fidelity item, which will probably be the Edge of Night, I would assume, to kind of negate some of the CC
Yeah,
that
100%.
they have. And in the bot lane, you know,
Oh my God.
Nico was able
He can
to...
dive in.
Whoa,
Yeah,
no.
he's going for it. He's gonna find that
He's
taunt, getting a little bit of the damage negation, but it does not matter.
All right,
Yeah,
let's
that's a
check
kill
the gold
plus a
lead.
turret, and now we're sitting at 7,000 gold lead just about.
Oh,
Blessed will pick up the shutdown. Oh my God.
Maybe,
Never
he
mind,
maybe
never mind.
will
Has to
pick up the
flash out.
shutdown. Has to flash over the wall right there.
Great Gale Force. Great Gale Force.
What a clean out play. I love it, but Nature's Grass might find him in the end.
this is why Gale Force is good for the game, just saying.
Oh, Jungle Gym.
Yeah, he should
Don't do it
tie
to
here
him.
though.
Oh,
no,
really clean
good.
shielding. Oh, Lulu ultimate coming down.
Lulu
Ignites
better
it down. A
take
nice
this.
little
Shen ult.
polymorph. And that ultimate coming out on the root. I apologize. The Shen ultimate is going to come
Good
through.
Shen
Jungle
ult.
Gym's health bar is going to get depleted. Bless picks up
card
another
may be dead.
one. There's no way he should be alive.
Yeah, fantastic Gale Force there to dodge the Shock Blast. It does get the execute on the Velikaz, gets the shutdown as well, which then puts the bot lane gold lead now up to just about 1,000, but
Wait. Velikaz didn't even build Edge of Night. He went
did not.
right
He went
for
Prowler's Claw. Okay, he's
Wow.
going for the Hammer Form one-shot. That's what he's doing.
Oh my God.
Um, I can't guarantee you if he had Prowlers in the last fight, that Lucian is 100% dead. Yeah, so he's going for the Hammer Form one-shot. He is not interested in poke whatsoever, even though he has Menaminus. He's just going for the E damage at this point. This Herald should be all but in the favor of Final Bastion with the advantage they have in top lane, and since Wildcard is in bot lane, he's one of the members you need here for the fight. But they look like BYU wants it.
Oh,
Thank you
Chantress
so
Herald
much.
is going to be able to land, but here comes the bot lane. They are sitting in the river. Really nice chunk damage coming out from Velikaz. They managed to get out of that one.
Good cast.
Here comes that
nice.
Nature's Grass and a really good cast to try to dissuade the fight even
Not
further,
as
but it
high.
does
Got the
not
damage,
matter.
the
Flaming
damage.
Shock finds the jungler.
So much damage coming out from the carries for the Final Bastion, and it's not even just Velikaz. I mean, even though Flaming Shock's only one item, he's doing a fair amount of damage, almost having the Trinity Force completed. They might go for more.
I don't see
Spirit
why not.
Rush
They
is up.
should.
Yeah,
Miko,
Karm
you do
lands.
not need to be
Oh.
there. You do not need to be there.
Jungle
Wow,
Gym
they're
has
still
Hex
looking for
Flash.
more.
Where's Nico in all of this? Like,
She was
taking
pushing
bot
bot
tower.
lane, got the bot tower
Like-
most likely, but I mean,
just-
it's doesn't really get too much for you. You're over-indexing for a side lane objective. Unfortunately, they know you're there. Is a 4v5 definitely in the favor, especially when Velikaz is there, and that Shock Blast nearly one-shotting
him
Blast.
out.
even the Shen, he has no health. Oh my God. Also, I'm just going to brag for a second. It is a Mountain Soul, so I finally got one right.
It is.
Let's
Congratulations.
All
Congratulations.
right, but just to kind of piggyback on like what we're talking about, this absurd damage this Jace is doing. I mean, I just keep clicking over to the gold, and it is literally over 7,000
yeah,
gold right
it's,
now.
yeah, I
of
can't
this-
stop looking at it.
Most of this 9,000 gold lead is on the Jace himself, so it's the same situation as the last game. Like, the rest of the lanes are pretty close. It's
Yeah.
just, well, except mid lane. Mid lane's kind of out of whack too, but
Yeah.
that's not that big a deal. But this first mountain drink is going to come up. This will be Soul Point, and it looks like BYU is getting the fast track in and on it first, so Rift
They
Herald will go over.
Might have the damage for it. It depends if Velikaz wants to stop them. They can give this Drake if they need to, which it looks like they
They're
might
giving
be.
it.
Enchanted
They're
Crystal
giving
coming
it.
down
Oh,
to
Chantress
TP.
Herald does find the ADC. Here comes the TP coming over from Velikaz. They're going to try to dissuade
my
the
God.
jungler from getting in there, but he's going to find his way into the Dragon Pit. Now it is a fight. Here comes the Pot Blossom. It does do a lot of damage, but it does not do enough.
Finish
Colorful
the drain.
and the junglers are still in
Stolen.
there. The fight picked up for Unleashed, and it is Final Bastion all the way. They get
This-
the Herald, they get the Drake, they get the
Oh.
Ace, they might have the game.
This
Oh.
Jace is completely out of control. If there's any advocate for Hextech, it's definitely this guy. He's 10-2-4, 3.5 items. Will have Shrill Grudge if he even decides to base. They can get at least an inhibitor here, potentially even more. Blessed and Bingo are respawning, but I don't know if they care too much. Health bars are up, just no ultimates available. They will potentially back off here, escort this for the last crash, and my goodness, the Shock Blasts. Every time they land, he's farming damage charts. I'm curious to see what he gets to at the end of this game.
I'm just know what his first strike damage is.
1,060. I was just getting ready to say it is
it's 1600 damage,
1,060.
yeah. It's ridiculous.
Good God, it's just so he's going Last Whisperer next. He's going Lord Dom's next, most likely. But like, this dude is gonna event. I think with the items he has at the moment, plus with the Last Whisperer, dude's gonna start
Yeah.
doing true damage.
Yeah, when he gets Cerilda's
Oh, they
first
do
complete
find him
Unless
in the
they catch
jungle. The
him.
culling does not find a lot of
my
damage, but it
God.
does find a decent amount. He's gonna dash forward, and they do find him shut down right over to wild card.
Oh, yeah, he does have the Cerilda's Grudge completed. This is now a 4-item Jace to Carter Rules 0 items.
Reldas!
It's Cerilda's. Every time a Shock Blast lands, it's a guaranteed kill, and Wildcard getting engaged on Pop Blast
But
looks
here
pretty
comes
good.
the Pop Blossom, knocked him right back into his team, but he is pincered in a 1v4.
That's an...
Oh,
This is looking
It's-
dire, guys.
It's looking a bit rough. We might see them push for the end. Velikos does not have TP up. He is down for another 15 seconds. It doesn't look like they care
that
too
might
much,
be
though.
Flaming Shock, though, a little aggressive.
He can more than be aggressive. He knows Alpha Cats and bot lane has space now. They might go for this inhibitor, this Nexus tower. It will be a bit long. Velikos does not have TP available.
I think this fight is... Yeah, BYU has to win this fight.
Taunt.
Carter Rules
Oh,
does miss
no.
that taunt. He's gonna pop that W,
my
but he is
God.
popped for his health bar. Up back cat is gonna dive right in.
this is it.
Lucian is popped up, and I don't think BYU has it in the tank. They just don't got the damage, and Final Bastion does. Double kill over to the Ash, and they are still trying to defend off their inhibitor. It is cracked wide open. Give them the game. I think that's a perfect game, too.
No.
Really, nearly a couple deaths across the map. At least it is.
Yeah, I mean,
They didn't
across
take
the
a
map.
single
yeah.
objective.
Oh
No, but like, well, they got
No,
Oh, they didn't. Oh my God! If they
they
didn't
didn't
get
take
any
a
like die at
single
all,
objective.
that was a perfect game.
Yeah, if they didn't die a couple times, it would have been a perfect game. Oh my God, the damage charts.
1-9. He did more than everybody.
He did more.
doubled-
I mean, he did
doubled
nearly.
everybody.
Yeah, he doubled everybody's damage, doing just about as much damage as the entire enemy team combined. 30,000 damage on the Jace. At the end of the game, the gold lead was 8,500 gold, 11, 3, and 4. Velikos having two monster games.
Amazing
in the
games.
top lane.
Like Velikos just literally was playing like it was solo queue, basically.
Yeah. He's
I
playing like he's
just-
the only one on the map, just going for solo kills left and right. Absolutely stomping Carter Rules in the top lane. Alphabet Cat did do his best to cover off in this game, but even he was getting solo killed by Velikos. So at one point, it's just the goal lead is too much.
I honestly don't have too much to say.
Yeah,
'Cause, like
neither do I.
it was another one of those absurdly snowbally games coming from the
Yeah.
side of Final Bastion. They just got out of control too early. I mean,
Yep.
we're not even. I'm completely ignoring top lane aside. The other lanes got out of control that
Yeah.
whole game, and I can't even think straight because
Yeah,
just-
top lane was
I have that one accelerated shock blast that almost
Yeah.
annihilated Lucian. Just
4 people
burned
in
in
the
my
dragon
head.
fight.
Like,
At the dragon
oh.
fight, when he queued in, nearly one shot their entire team. Maokai comes in, like we thought they were gonna give it, but as soon as I saw Velikos TP, they definitely weren't. Really good coordinated fight there for them, and all of their team fights in general. Just, I mean, it's really hard to play into a Jace that's 4 items ahead of his lane counterpart. It's just so much damage coming through in every single fight.
I mean, if you guys could see my face right now, it is just
Yeah.
absolutely
Yeah, just in
stunned.
shock.
Like,
Just in shock.
oh,
It was a crazy
wow.
game.
Like that was an insane game, and I think you're right in terms of if they would have died maybe a couple times left, I would call that a perfect game. But aside from the fact that I would still like by definition, that's a perfect game.
In consideration with the map itself, they didn't give over a single objective. Not one tower went down, not one herald, not one dragon.
Nope.
They played the map perfectly. They gave over a few kills, getting a little hype here and there again. And I mean, I will give it to BYU. They made a few good plays early on in the game, especially around bot lane, but it just wasn't enough.
So
I
it begs the question: who are we going to talk to?
I really want to talk to Velikos.
I do too, yeah. I really want to talk to him. I want to see what he has to say about this, if anything.
I will
yeah.
let them know. You guys can hit any point you would like.
I really don't have too many points myself, to be completely honest with you. It was just a team. It was just a case of Final Bastion just being the better team today. They
Yeah.
executed their draft better. They had better macro control, especially in this game. Game 1, it was a little back and forth, but like game 2, this was much more controlled and just all around. It's like they played to their snowball exactly how they needed to.
Oh yeah.
So Mike, so you know how you have a candle and you can either put the lid on and the flame snuffs out, or you can slides something over the top of it, and the flame kind of flickers, and
Slowly
then
flickers.
eventually is extinguished.
Yeah.
Game 1 is the sliding effect. Game
Mhm.
2 is a smashing effect. They take the candle and they go, "Skrrr!" No
Brutal,
more
yeah.
flame.
It's that. I mean, game one was. I mean, for all intents and purposes, excluding top lane, of course, was pretty close.
Yeah.
And we saw a number of team fights go the way of BYU just because of that Zoe performance that we saw was
even-
exceptional. But
And even the
yeah.
fights that they lost,
It was pretty close.
it was very close. Like,
Yeah,
if,
one or two skill shots go the right way for them.
Exactly.
It's definitely a good fight for them. But this game just completely on its head, and Bless doing everything he can, but just
Yeah.
not enough. His
Oh.
front line is being one shot. There's not much you can do as a Lucian at that point.
I'm looking at Discord, and it doesn't look like any of the teammates for Final Bastion are in there, so they might have had something to do, and they dipped out.
Yeah, it looks like they might have been busy, so
Does
we
not
might not
look
get
like
an
we get to
interview for
talk to them
today.
tonight.
That's unfortunate.
ooh, I guess not. I guess we don't get to talk to Velikos tonight.
That's okay. I mean,
That's
we
okay.
he knows he's a good player. He's like,
He
I
knows
got
he's
some,
good.
I got some women to go seduce after playing that good.
Yeah,
and
yeah. He has a contract to sign after that one.
Oh yeah, no kidding.
May look to play a couple solo queue games if I were him.
He's
not
got
gonna
to
lie.
clip some of those so he can send them in for his tryouts.
Yeah. Definitely clipping a lot of points from that game for him, for sure. Just a
Yeah.
monster top lane performance. I mean, it's one of the.
Monster.
It's
Oh,
by
they came
far.
back. Hold on.
Oh, they
Where
did.
are we?
Okay. I mean, by
Where we
far,
at?
single-handedly the most,
Oh,
like,
shit.
by far, like the strongest individial performance we've had from a top laner, all split. By
Speaking of that top
Speaking
laner,
of
hi
strong-
Velikos.
Performance
doing?
is. How you
Yo, what's up?
doing?
How you doing?
You were insane. That's how I will start this whole.
Yeah.
You were absolutely insane both games. Played Fiora, probably the cleanest I've seen, and I
That's
play
good,
a
yeah.
pretty good Fiora, so
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
saying something. I'm just
For
kidding.
shit.
And then that Jace game, just the amount of deeps you were doing, just
Oh, that Jace. Holy.
that was gross, man. Absolutely.
Was
love
yeah, was that Jace on R5 in game 2 your idea, or was it a suggestion from your team?
So I have like 4 champs that I play.
Okay, nice.
and
Leaking
so
info.
If they don't ban one of my 4 champs, I just kind of pick it no matter what the matchup is.
Okay.
And
Fair.
fortunately for me, the Jace was actually it's such a good matchup for Jace.
It is, yeah.
with the Shen. You literally you farm first strike, and luckily the top laner, not shitting on him or anything, it was he had no aggressiveness in lane whatsoever, so I just ran
Yep.
him down. So
Yep.
You were
it
wishing he
was-
was more aggressive. Nice. Interesting.
I wanted something to like be a little entertaining, but I guess dropping
I'm glad-
13 kills every game is entertaining in itself.
I'm glad you brought that up because I did want to comment on just the mental fortitude to sit in lane, that long, 5-6 minutes, and just hit
should've
the
asked
stop key and then wait.
like I said, at some point, he just has to kill himself to break the freeze. Like, were you expecting more? Were you expecting more jungle pressure, or at least attempts to break the freeze? Because in game 1, you had the lane frozen for about 6-7 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was expecting them to legit farm me the entire time, but they didn't come
Yeah.
top once. They just said fuck that Shen and just let him just do whatever.
Yeah.
I feel bad for Shen because I've been in that situation before,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
literally it's not playable. You just have to sit there and soak XP.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
You
was-
heard it here first,
Yeah.
other unstoppable teams. If this man has the lane frozen, he wants to see you. He might
Yeah.
win.
He wants,
to see
he
you.
wants some action. Like this is for future teams. Gank him at least 50 times a game. Every wave is a dive if you can get the wave pushed. So just be sure to be there. Get wards completely in top jungle. And
It's
then
reverse psychology because
Yeah.
I tell my jungle to come as well, so we 2v2, and since we're better, we just win. So it's easy.
Ah,
There you
I
go.
see. I mean, you
Easy.
certainly proved it today, at least, that you're a very skilled top laner. I mean, Unleashed had a very good set of games on himself, 2 games on Maokai. Not exactly a high skill champion, but there is a lot of skill expressiveness in his kit, and he played this team fights really well. So did you. And I mean, after you saw your Shock Blast do like 50% damage to Shen, was that the point that you just decided to run around the map trying to hit Qs?
Yeah, I just ran around the map farming first
Yeah.
strike. Every EQ I hit was 100 gold for me. So it was just
Good
it was
God.
just yeah.
That's
it was
ridiculous. How
at
much
that
gold
point,
did you
game's
have
over.
at the end of the game from first strike?
Oh god, I have no clue.
I don't think it said.
I could tell you guys.
You can look in the post game and match history. It'll tell you under runes how much gold you got.
Match
It's got to be like 1,500, 2,000 gold from it. Like it has
Where
to be
is
a lot.
it again?
If you go
Oh.
in match history and then advanced
a
details,
1,000 gold.
1,000, yeah.
Yeah, it's gross.
Yeah,
pretty
okay.
crazy.
It was
Yeah, 'cause
disgusting.
you did like by the end of the game like 1100 extra damage from first strike, so
Yeah,
it was
gross.
it was pretty nuts. And one thing I wanted to ask real quick, so obviously you guys have 3 teams who are ahead of you, and I would argue that you guys have been improving as the season has been going on. Are you feeling confident because there's only 2 weeks of the split left, mind you? We are at week 5, I believe, and there are 7
Damn.
weeks, so there are 2 weeks left. Are you guys feeling pretty confident about potentially going into playoffs and maybe even taking a game off of the 2 top teams who are still Dorado Gaming, Omega, I believe. Yep, Dorado Gaming,
Yep.
Omega, and Flash Abusers. Those are the top 2
Yes.
teams of this state right now.
Well, I mean, if Bilbo's Book Club does lose against Flash Abusers,
You guys will be tied.
that makes you guys tied.
Tied for what? Third?
Second,
Third, yeah.
third, yeah,
Third,
third, yeah.
tied for third.
Damn. Well, about the top teams. So we faced the 2 best teams back to back. Week 1,
Yes,
week
I
2.
noticed. Yeah, you're
And
week 1, week 2. Yeah.
We were not the same team as we are now. Our bot lane
Okay.
actually,
I like that.
our bot lane has a brain now. Thank God.
That's
So,
huge. It's as an AD carry
yeah.
player, it means a lot to me to hear other people say that their bot lane has a brain because it's very important that yours does. especially in a meta like this, you need to have a good bot lane.
They didn't have a brain until week 4. I'm gonna be honest here. I don't know what the fuck they were doing, but they
They showed up. That's what matters.
yeah
That
they showed
do.
up. They're getting
They're here
better.
now.
They're getting better. If we face the 2 top teams now, I think we actually did beat them. So that's really
Okay.
because I've been
I-
playing the game more and more. So I've actually
That's what I like to hear.
Yeah, I will admit though, I am excited if you guys end up playing Dorado in playoffs. They are a very hard team as we have seen. They are pretty clean, but I would argue that you guys are almost as clean as them. There were some sloppy things in
Yes,
game
this
1,
week
but
for sure. Yeah.
we'll look past that. Game 2 was much cleaner than game 1.
Yeah.
But if you had like 2 of those game 2s, I think your guys' macro would be pretty much on par with Dorado's.
Yeah,
and
you
Dorado's
guys
is
played the map
disgusting.
really well in game 2,
Mhm.
despite a couple of times you're just running around the map searching for kills. But again, you gave over 0 objectives. You played for the objectives you needed to, played around the leads that you
Yep.
needed to play around, shut down the bot lane after they started getting ahead. So you played the map really well. And if you keep playing like you do now, I mean, I would not be surprised to see you guys in playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, against the Dorado team, all we have to do is just ban Jackson. Bennett is kind of like a silver top laner, so
Okay.
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 All
I love
right.
BM. I
then.
love it. All right, Darter, any final thoughts?
And the only final thoughts I have to say is this guy is definitely a top laner. That's all I have to say. He's
He
100% a top
He
laner.
is. He
If
froze it on him and
I-
said, "Fight me."
This guy,
Just
this guy
fight
is
me.
definitely a top laner and definitely one that I would want on my team for sure.
Oh
he's-
my god.
Hyper, final thoughts?
Final thoughts. I mean, what a performance. I like Darter said earlier. You know, single-handedly the best single player performance we've seen all split. And you know, you're first in damage per minute, first in solo kills, and I believe it.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
wait, I am in this
yeah,
whole, in this whole thing.
in
Yes, in
Unstoppable,
this-
you're first in solo kills and first in DPM among top laners.
Oh, shit.
I yeah no. I
Apparently
think
you
that's
averaged
a-
3
I think
per
that's
game, but
across
that
the
might have been
board.
more. That might be more after this series.
It might increase after the series. You got quite a few solo kills this time around.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
And then from me, your team, you in particular, you're insane. Your team is insane.
Yeah.
All of you, I don't know who was shot calling a lot of those fights, but it was pretty precise shot calling, especially with that Talia game where your mid laner split up the fight pretty obnoxiously well to be able to get those important targets caught out. That was awesome, and I'm pretty excited for where you guys go. But you are able to go celebrate with your team, or as I said, go seduce women with your performance, or
Yes.
Carter said sign
well.
a contract, or
Yeah,
I
go sign a
said
contract or
submit some
something.
clips for tryouts.
Yeah, your damage per minute is crazy.
Oh, by the
1,000
way-
DPM. Holy
By
cow.
the way, homie, that is first in the whole league as a whole, not just top laners.
Yeah,
first, in damage per
first out
minute.
of everything in Unstoppable, yeah.
Yeah, first
Wow.
in unstoppable damage per
Damn.
minute and solo kills per game.
Yeah, you also have, in case you didn't know, you do have 35% damage share on average.
so you
which is
take the hits,
ridiculous.
but you
Which
can
is
give them.
ridiculous. That's crazy. Yeah, for anyone wondering, Risen Esports does have a stats website that is available to all players. You should be able to find it in links somewhere.
you could use it for drafting strats.
You can, yeah.
All right, thank you so much. We'll talk about that next time.
There you go.
Yeah.
See, all right. But thank you, Velikos, for coming by with this interview, and that'll do it for us here for Unstoppable. So next week is Who's next week? Let me
We can
look
check
this
the
up.
schedule.
Okay,
We
Primal
definitely know what
Instinct
we're
Orange
doing.
versus Damage Over Time. So that
That
will
should be
be a
good.
pretty fun
Should be
one.
good.
I do believe. See, I think Damage Over Time is okay. So they're
They're
1-3
currently-
right now,
They are 1-3 right
Okay.
now.
Yes.
and 2-2 for Primal Instinct Orange.
Yeah, it
So
should be a good game. It has heavy playoff implications for both of these teams. Whichever one win. Yeah. Damage Over Time really has to win to keep their playoff hopes alive. And I mean, Primal Instinct Orange is really looking to secure their playoff spot with a third win.
right, and wow, what a banger series! And we're done in just a couple of hours. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
that'll
think
do it.
that's the quickest game we've casted, quickest
Yeah.
It has, yeah.
quickest series we've
All of our
had.
series have been 3 games up till tonight because
Yeah,
Yeah.
I get to go lose more LP.
Hey, let's go. So do I.
I love it. All right, everyone. I'm gonna go ahead and hit the Valorant gameplay because I hate myself.
Ah,
And these
yes.
two are gonna go play Summoner's Rift. So that's it for us here for Unstoppable. I'm DBZ Freak 2. That's Hyper Darter Wolf. They're on this side of me actually because
Yes,
I don't
we
know my
are.
directions apparently. See you guys next Saturday. And I do believe Risen 2 is still going on right now, so we might raid over to there. If they're not, then we're going somewhere
should
else.
be.
So
They should be.
have fun, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow for Dominant. Actually, not us, but everyone else will.
Yes.
But other than that, we'll see y'all next week.
Bye.